games. You know, especially semifinals, you have so many, 20. How are you? Hi, Suzanne. I'm Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Mike and I are doing the commentating. So we tried to learn a lot of names. Some of them are new, but it is she's 16, first time we've seen her. Oregon and California half the time. She's a big give myself a little bit. She's from New Mexico. Ashley Fisher. Let me write that. Oh yeah, right. No L.
You want info about their climbing style, or was that too much info?
She just did 5'14". Nora. There's a brief little thing for myself. Megan Lynch. Yeah. Whoa. World boulder. She's the world
No longer.
collegiate.
Just age
bouldering
that.
champion.
Well, not just age.
So 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
This was Ben Bob.
So that was Megan Lynch. That's 2018 World Collegiate Bouldering Champion. Wow.
Yeah, Megan Lynch.
Mario Horseman.
Mariella.
Yeah, Mario Horseman.
From 17 from Boston, Central Rock, Watertown. I have veteran for some reason. I think has she been at it for a bit? Maybe she's
Oh,
had.
she.
right, we're live here from Reach Climbing and Fitness. Mike Feinberg, Scott Meckler's here with me.
Yo, yo, yo. Back on the mic here commentating with my good friend Mike Feinberg. Beautiful Sunday morning in Bridgeport. We're getting started with semifinals. Jumping right into it here with the men's. Mike, who do we have here on course?
We have Malik Mo starting out. Malik is a New York City native, currently a climbing coach at the Cliffs. Mostly a boulderer, but does like to lead climb as well.
Nice. So he qualified 26 here. Our first one out. We got 26 going through. Top 8 to finals tonight. Big show. 6 o'clock. Be here if you can. Mike, tell me a little bit about this route we're looking at.
Malik making good progress through the first few clips. Looks like this route, it's got a lot of big holds, a lot of slopers, a lot of pinches. Very dynamic looking, at least through the midsection. You can see how Malik does here. Interesting fact about Malik, growing up in New York City, he still does not know how to drive.
Well, when you live in New York City, driving is not the first thing you're going to learn, right? You figure out the buses and the subways. Check out this move, Mike. Looking big.
Yeah.
Right-hand pinch. Long way for the left here. Course setters were telling us a little bit about this movement. Yeah.
Go. Looking strong, Malik.
There it is. Sinking the heel.
This is good run out for the first climber.
Absolutely. Course setters are probably starting to get stressed a little bit, but I think Malik, oh, great go, Malik.
There he goes. Strong go for Malik, first climber out.
Definitely going for broke. First time out. All he can do is go higher up here in his final results. Great go. Mike, route setters were saying men's route, probably 13 plus, 13D. Pretty stout for a semifinal, would you say?
For sure. It's got to be stout. We've got some big names here.
True enough. We got some Olympians in the house, but it was Jesse Grouper, right, that did the 2 tops in qualifying?
Jesse definitely taking it down in the qualifier. Only person with 2 tops. Strong showing, especially coming off his win in Albuquerque.
Right. Albuquerque, the last stop here on the Cup Series. We have a couple. We have Jesse, and then in the women's we have Melina, who is going to be our last female out, and she also took it down in Albuquerque. So here we go, switching over to the women's semifinal. Alexa Shear, she's 16, from Utah. She's been competing for about 6 years. She told me she's been in semifinals before. Just talking to her a bit in ISO. Nervous, but excited.
We got the split screen going here. Ben Barrett up on the left. Ben was born in Maryland, climbs at Earth Treks. It's actually his 3rd year at Drexel, which is a college up here in Philadelphia. Ben, quite the academic, works in biomedicine field, is very interested in the possible 3D printing of organs and stem cell research.
Wow. That's some impressive information beta you got there, Mike. You've been doing your homework.
Yeah.
Once again, Alexa Shear on the women's, the blue. Talk to the route setters a little bit about the women's as well. They're saying the women's, like a mid-13, like maybe 13 BC for a semifinal.
The women's herd actually did get to 4-run.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Lucky
I got to
you.
do the women's, not the men's.
The benefits of being an owner, I guess.
It helps.
Scary to think Mike's a gym owner.
Yeah.
Mike, I saw yesterday in the qualifiers a lot of dual techs. Did you notice a lot of dual techs on these, like the women's blue as well?
There was a little bit, although I think less than the qualifiers.
Okay.
But some of the tricky sections up high, there's a good amount of dual techs.
So trusting the feet, you got the dual techs, forcing you to use some very technical feet.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I know there have been some force movement, at least so far in this competition, where you've actually had to step on the smooth part of the dual techs.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, of course. Mike, for the people at home, now these are walls that you've obviously owned and stuff, and I've climbed on these a bit. Very steep, hard to maybe see in the broadcast, but the steepness on these walls is difficult, to say the least, right?
Absolutely. So this venue was really built as with competition in mind. We've got great seating. There's a big mezzanine above, which a lot of people can stand on. You can see everything. There's a lot of steep terrain here. Ben making his way up through the first overhang as he transitions with this jump.
Whoa.
Oh, just
Goes
missed
with the
it.
two-hand. We saw Malik stick it with the one hand. Ben fully committed with the two. Once again, Alexa Shear here on women's semifinal. And we're back with Alexa here, getting
Alexa
the clip
making
in.
some progress. Left hand up. So this is going to be a big right hand throw out for the women. Even for me, this was a bit of a move. My feet cut when I did this move myself.
Nice. Going to look for the features out to the right. Yeah, very nice. Once again, our first semifinalists out, just like we saw for the men, just really kind of putting a huge effort in. Alexa Shear, and she's doing awesome. Contemplating a clip here. Got rope in hand.
Rope in hand, trying to get out.
Trying to get out for it.
Big reach for her.
Oh, that's a big reach. Got to commit to the move.
Going back for the rest, smart.
Mike, do you recall this move on the forerun for you being quite a move?
It's powerful. I mean, this is where the root kicks up. I mean,
Nicely done by Alexa.
big at open hand pinch. Small crimp on the volume.
Okay, look at that. With the foot tucked into the pocket, like a little toe scum there. That's a dual
Yeah,
text
it was
hold.
that is dual text, and that was almost like a toe hook.
Yeah, that was, look at that. Great production work there showing us. Boy, Alexa is really putting in a great effort here.
She is cruising.
Probably has the course setters shaking a little bit here. Route setters are like, what is going on? But Mike, you know from forerunning, this is no joke here. Whoa, little
Wow, rose move there.
rose move and strong.
Coming out of it. The feet are uncomfortable. You can see in that position that she's in, just that left foot hanging on there, sloper that she's standing on.
Boy, she's crushing though.
Big high step.
Come on, Alexa. Got a great crowd already on hand here this morning. Showing up. I can imagine finals will be a great packed house. I'm going to be switching over to the live embassy for the finals here tonight, but enjoying doing the commentating. And very impressed with Alexa Shear here going right after this.
Alexa trying to clip from the lock-off position. Wasn't successful. Let's see if she can get a little shake.
Looks like that left hand's a pretty bad slope.
There's a little screw-on jib on there, right on top.
Nice.
That right hand really bites. It's a little in cut.
But you got to figure at this point, even a good biting crimper, you're so tired.
Oh yeah.
Wow, what an effort
Pumped
by
at this
her.
point. 1 minute left.
Oh.
Oh.
Putting on a great show. And that's our 26th climber out. She just made the cut yesterday. Alexa Shear. I would have to imagine that she's going to be going up in ranking here from her 26.
Strong first run for sure.
Mike, what's going on the men's here?
So up next for the men's, we have Nick Vernelli. Nick is a local. Nick has been a coach for Reach since we opened the last 2 years.
Wow.
So
How is he as an employee?
Nick's a great employee. He's great. He teaches the youth team.
HR.
Nick's great with the youth team. We love having him work with the kids. He does personal training as well.
Better watch out. He's going to be looking for a raise. You're giving him all these compliments. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I've seen Nick around the gym. Absolutely. That's awesome that he made it into semifinals.
Nick made it so training. Nick is his year-long goal was to make it into a semifinal in a North American Cup.
Year-long goal.
Yeah, so he was ecstatic yesterday when he made the cut.
It's so cool to hear him accomplish that goal. For the women, We have Nina
Nick
Schroeder.
Nick clipping low there.
Nina is out of Portland. She's 18. She climbs for Montemouth Athletic Club, which sounds like a really cool, like a facility, and there's a group of them that kind of a team that climb together. Nina was excited in ISO when I talked to her and made it into semis.
Nick Rinelli making quick progress here.
I feel like he's going to do really well on that hard pinch one. Yeah, he's choking up quite high, getting ready to stick this thing.
Nick, he likes his pinches.
Yeah.
We'll see how he does on the jump.
Yeah, the jump, the dynamic movement there.
Oh, Nick sticks
Wow,
it
look
easily.
at that strength.
Wow.
One arm. Cliffhanger style. Sliced alone.
Good for Nick.
Absolutely. Let's not forget about Nina Schroeder here on women's. Nina climbing out of Portland. She's 18. Nick giving some efforts here.
Nick giving some audible effort.
No quit in this guy.
Into the undercurrent.
Yeah, Nick.
Making some noise, trying hard.
Oh.
Good
Great
run
effort.
by Nick Rinelli.
Local crowd giving him some much needed applause. So here we are with Nina. She's figuring some moves out on this women's semifinal. We said before, it's in the mid-13 range, the setters were telling me.
Certainly felt like mid-13.
Mike's vouching for it as he gave it a little 4-run session.
Little left heel.
Yeah.
Not sure she liked it. Putting it back in.
Putting it in for the clip, though. Looking quite composed as well.
Getting ready for the jump.
Yeah. Standing on top there. Oh,
Bit of a
stretching
rest,
out.
making it look easy.
Yeah. Little Sunday morning stretch. Getting the clip done. Wow. Uh-oh. I think I see the route setter sweating over there. I can only say because I'm not a route setter anymore. What I used to be in a panic attack.
Yeah.
Very nicely done with the features for the feet there.
Scott, these volumes are actually, most of them were made in-house.
Really?
We make them here.
You got
In our, we have a wood shop.
You have a wood shop. You got some carpenters on the payroll then. Nice.
All very talented.
Very talented. Reach and the factory facility bringing you some highly qualified people. Once again, this is Nina Schroeder.
Let's see, Nina making the reach. Let's see if she can kick her foot out and do the rose move.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw Alexa style that move up earlier. Very strong. Oh! Le Rose Vampire getting her.
Good effort by Nina.
Good effort, though. Absolutely, by Nina.
Okay, coming up for the men, we have Keith North out of Colorado. Waiting for Keith to come out. Keith is the head route setter at G1 Climbing. G1 it's a brand new gym in between Denver and Boulder.
Between Denver and Boulder, huh? So what's that like, Broomfield or
Broomfield, somewhere in that area.
Yeah. I mean, it's been probably 10 years since I've been to Colorado. I used to spend a lot of time there. Lots of good friends. Hopefully some are tuning in. Miss you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many gyms out in that Colorado area, but I guess it can be supported with just so many climbers and outdoor enthusiasts.
The gym explosion, and nowhere is it more evident than in Colorado.
Always. You know, dating back, the Boulder Rock Club was always just one of the staple facilities in the country, and then along came Movement, of course, good friends, and Willie Mike Moulter's gym.
So Keith is actually a level 4 route setter himself. He's the head route setter there. Level 5 being the highest level of designation by USA Climbing. Level 4 is quite high.
Level 4, huh? Wow. Now, when I was setting, I don't even know if we had the levels.
Well, times have changed.
Probably a good thing. I would have been like level 1. For the women, we have Eloise Clarice. Or Clarice, I believe. Eloise, she's from Pennsylvania. She's competed through her youth, making her way here.
Eloise, she's a strong climber. We see her in here periodically training. We've seen her grow in the few years we've been open. She always comes to compete here, and it's fun having her and her family come watch.
Mike, how many years has your facility been open now?
We've been here just about 2 years.
So 2 years, so you're starting to kind of see the groundwork and the community come together. People have been training here 2 years, and you have competitions like this. It's got to be pretty cool to see them kind of find their competing maturity.
Absolutely. I mean, be able to bring events like this to Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, an area that has never had events of this caliber, is great for the region.
Absolutely. To have a facility that can house this, and obviously not only from the competitor standpoint with the walls and the isolation and the facility, but then also for the spectators as well, and people in the families that have traveled with the athletes. Talking to a lot of these athletes in isolation, I couldn't help but notice it is a fairly young field out there.
Certainly. Much, yeah. Absolutely. A lot of these competitors are actually coming off their youth season, and many of them are still youth competitors themselves. Many competed in the Youth World event that was last month.
That was in Russia, was it?
That was in Russia.
Wow, impressive. Yeah, so they're bringing that experience here to the open category for him.
Yeah. Keith with the high point here.
Yeah, check that out.
Looking impressive.
Colorado strong there. Using his route setting to figure this out. Oh, great go, Keith. And Eloise finds herself up here at the Rose move.
Let's see, so this takes a lot of core. You have to kick your foot out.
And this wall is steep up there. Oh, nice. She's going with a power match. And resting, too, finding something there. Oh, that's got to make the route setters a little unhappy here. Doing a power match on their Rose move. Didn't see that one at forerunning now, did they?
Yeah, that might have been my fault, Scott. They might have seen me struggle on it and thought that it was harder than it should be.
Please, Mike, you're still a very strong, composed climber out there, holding it down for the old guys. Eloise Clarice here.
Possibly getting high point here. Oh, close.
Very close. So the first three female competitors out in semifinals have gone pretty high on this route. Definitely more than, I would say, than the men have done on their semifinal.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Are we going to see some flashes on this?
I would expect so.
Really?
Yes.
That could make for an exciting finals then. You know, if we say we have multiple flashes, oh boy, pressure.
The pressure's on.
These route
have
setters
to dial
better get
things
it
up.
together. Great go there. And she found her own sequence that kind of worked for her than we had seen prior.
She did. She got through the Rose move a little bit differently than the others. I can tell you, though, that after they make that move that they're struggling on is the crux, which is quite difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A little bit of a separator coming up top there.
Yes. The
Interesting.
next few moves will definitely set the field apart. I have a feeling.
Just from your experience up there, from the holds you felt. Well, you've definitely tugged on some holds on those walls in the past, so I'm sure you know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, next competitors are coming out, getting set here for our semifinals. North American Cup Series 2021 in Bridgeport, Pennsylvania at Reach.
For the men, we have Ellie Smith. Ellie is coming from Brooklyn, New York, currently climbing at Vital Climbing Gym. Vital, Scott, if you haven't seen this gym yet, it's unbelievable.
Really?
They spared no expense.
Oh,
Incredible facility. All
where at?
bouldering.
Where
All
in-
bouldering.
Where at in New York?
It's in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Wow, it almost sounds like Chelsea Pier back in the day. When they built Chelsea Piers, everybody was like, no expense spared. It's like something you've never seen before. Hang out with movie stars and rock stars, climb on the walls. So, vital.
Vital.
Cool.
Vital. So Vital's New York City. It's new. It's the newest gym there. It is certainly impressive.
Awesome.
But only a bouldering gym, and Ellie's here climbing on routes, so we'll see how his endurance fares.
Awesome. And for the women, we have Tessa Raines. Tessa Raines is, she's from like New York, New Jersey. I think she lives in New York but trains in New Jersey, or maybe it was vice versa. She's 16. First time in semifinals for her. So another one of those youth competitors, Tessa, finding her way here into the open semifinals.
Tessa making the cross off the pocket. It looked like she was able to get 3 fingers in that pocket.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right heel hook, making her feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Eli looks to be quite a bigger guy, per se. He's tall.
Eli,
He's looking thick.
He's very, very tall.
Very tall, very thick. Oh!
Oh.
That tricky heel hook got him. Sorry, Eli, just as I comment how you're thick and tall. Tessa Raines, though.
Tessa making quick progress.
Absolutely. Looking comfortable here.
Making the clip, then going to go for the jump.
And as you were saying from forerunning this, Mike, this is when this round is going to start to really kind of pick up towards the top there. You believe there's a bit of a crux up top that you felt that will be a bit of a separator. I guess time will tell with the competitors coming out.
This route's quite progressive. There's, in my opinion, there's a crux about 3/4 of the way up, and then the pump just stays on you and the moves stay hard.
I'm sure the route setters formulated that progressiveness in it. They, build upon it, get the pump, and then start to hit you. Oh boy, looking like a little dicey clip, but gets it in there and is getting her composure back, hopefully.
Let's see if she can work her foot up. Likes the pocket.
Oh, good stick. Logo's in the way. I couldn't really see it that well, but now I see it. Okay. Let's see how she goes through this rose move.
Look at that flexibility.
Wow. Someone's been doing their yoga. Mike, do you move like that still?
You will never see me move like that.
I don't think I ever did, to be honest. Wow. Dude, she just totally hit that rose move.
Boom, rose move, crossing through.
So smooth.
Looking strong. Getting those feet up.
Francois Legrand would be proud.
Working the feet up. Let's see if she makes the clip.
Wow.
Okay, if she makes the next move, that'll be the high point.
Putting in a serious fight here. I thought she was looking fatigued earlier. Oh, a little bit of a dry fire.
Tessa.
Oh. So close. That's been our high point, folks, so far on the women's semifinal.
Yeah.
Tessa Raines.
We have a bit of a bottleneck there.
A little bit. I'm going to have to talk to these route setters. Tony Yanira wouldn't be happy with this separation.
Well, we have 26 climbers here, and only the top 8 make it. So we'll see. I have a feeling that 8 people will make it past that move.
It is quite a cut from 26 to 8. To be in that final 8, to be in the big show tonight, quite an accomplishment.
Certainly.
We have 2 Olympians, so they're, of course, a lot of people figuring, that if you were on FanDuel or something, the odds would be pretty high, right? And they qualified well.
They did. The Olympians qualified well. We've got, the rest of the field is quite strong as well. Scott, I'm looking forward to the day that climbing will be on FanDuel.
Well, what's cool was the Olympics. I'm big into bikes and BMX, and you could bet on BMX in the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
And I had a friend who was in, and she made it, and I didn't wager any money, but it's just cool to see the odds. It just kind of delves deeper into everything. Hopefully that, someday. So for semifinals for the women, Ariana Bacciera. Bacciera. Sorry if I messed your name up a little bit there. It is a little tricky. She said she has lots of family watching back home in New York. She climbs for Team Rock. She's 17. She said her family was just, excited. They're going to tune into the live feed, check this out. she'd never been in semifinals before, and so she's just kind of excited, enjoying the experience. Who do we have on the men's, Mike?
For the men's, we have Natan. Natan is from California. Natan is actually our oldest male competitor at age 32.
Mike, how old are you?
37 now, Scott.
37. I feel old. I remember when you're in high school.
You don't have to give your age.
No, but 50's coming in hot.
Natan he's a head coach, and his hair is actually dyed because he lost a bet with his youth team.
Wow. Committed.
He competed in speed. If you remember, he had the approach shoes on in the speed competition. He believed that the approach shoes give him more comfort and therefore better ability on the wall.
Oh, check that out.
Natan's sticking the jump,
Strong.
towing in on the pinch,
Yeah. Great
looking
effort.
good.
Letting out a little battle cry, too. Oh, he is fighting for it there, though. He's trying to get it back together.
Hopefully he can get something back on this hold.
Yeah, he ended up doing a little power match there and trying to rest out that hand. I mean, this route really kind of does go into, yeah.
Oh,
Check him out, getting the crowd going here.
Natan getting the crowd involved. I like it.
I like it. You kind of feel like that's the coach in him, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Bring in the energy. Let's get
Bring the
psyched.
motivation.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. And that is
big fall
quite
by
the
Natan.
fall.
Big fall by Natan. Upside down.
Upside down. Great catch by the belayer.
Loving life. Gives an okay sign when he gets down.
That dude's an adrenaline junkie. All right.
Right where that jump is on the wall of the men's route is where the angle really kicks up. You're going onto that panel where it kicks out is 40 degrees.
Sorry to cut you off, Mike. We got Ariana, though, still on the women's semifinal. Here she is up at that, and she's doing the power match on the Rose move, getting up into the territory of what we've seen the high point to be. Now, once again, it's her first time for Ariana in the semifinals, and she's looking composed and getting a good rest,
Looking
working
composed,
it.
shaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rest is not as good as it looks. That right foot is really very slopey, and it puts you in kind of an awkward position.
Gotcha. She's kind of like down climbed herself into that position. She's out of the sequence, which is pretty cool. And now firing back
There
up
she
into
is,
it.
getting up into the pinch, getting the high feet up.
Yeah. So this is it. From here, got to get this clip, got to get going, try to get that high point. We've seen this route really kick up in difficulty here. Let's see if we can see a new high point. And there it is. Oh!
Oh.
How would that be scored, Mike? Would that? I mean,
believe-
nothing's official with us, but
Right. That's probably what they call a plus.
really.
So when you make upward movement, they give you a plus. I don't know if they'll give her that hold. It looked
Just-
like
sorry, Mike,
she
go
was
ahead.
close to control, but didn't stop on it, really.
Just like you at home, Mike and I are just watching the monitor, even though it is live off to our left. We're watching the screen so we can commentate and see what you're seeing. And from watching it on the monitor, here we are in slow-mo, it looked to me like she just about held this thing. Yeah, looks really close. She may have got that plus. Once again, it's just our opinion. Nothing's official here. We'll see how the results, what the judges have. But great effort from Ariana.
She looked like just another inch or two, a little more control, she would have stuck it. Scott, that hold they're going to, it's an edge, but it's slopey.
Oh.
It's not in cut, it's not flat. It totally slopes out. So you need to be in control to hold it.
So as we like to say, it's not a bite or crimp or anything like that.
There's no bite.
There's no bite in that dog. As Mike says, there's no bite. And probably at that point in the route, you are feeling it. Although she found a great rest and was able to get some composure back. Well, sorry about that. We just realized we've been calling Ariana for the last one, and I apologize to Ella Tillery. She did a great go. Ella, sorry, and to your family. This is Ariana now. We're just getting going here with our semifinal, Mike. Hopefully we'll clean this up for
It's
finals.
okay. You know what happened was that there was a hole in the competitor spot, so we skipped one in the beginning, and that threw the list off.
Oh, Mike, thanks for covering me up there. Appreciate that. Well, Mike's doing great here with the men's over here. So, Mike, who's on the men's?
Climbing, we have Sebi. He's from New York City. He is currently the head coach of the Cliffs. His favorite outdoor climbing area is Rumney, and he's originally from Massachusetts.
So here we are, Ariana en route. She's 17 from New York, climbing for Team Rock. Said the family, I know you probably heard me say this about the last competitor who was Ella. Sorry about that.
Sebi makes the big move. Getting into the underclings. This is where it gets powerful.
He's moving well and quick.
He's going fast. This panel that he's moving onto is 40 degrees overhanging. It's hard to tell from the video screen, but that's pretty steep.
40 degrees, absolutely. This men's semifinal route proven to be quite a battle. I think we've only seen maybe one get higher than that, maybe two.
I think there was a handful of competitors that got higher. Ariana making the clip. Up to the sloping pinch.
Let's see if she can find that same rest that Ella did. Ella, who we think has the high point at this point on her last go. That was Ella Tillery. She's 16 from Atlanta. She was the last competitor.
Ariana, let's see if she makes the cross through.
We're going for the clip.
Going for the clip. She opts for the match. Putting herself in a good position.
Electing to skip that rest that we saw Ella get there,
No,
where she really was able to kind of get her composure back on.
Right. No, yeah, opted not to rest at all. Sometimes it's better just to keep moving. Left hand on the sloper. You got to really step up on that right foot. Really perch. Oh.
So close. I think competitive for Ella had a little more control. Ariana, though, a little bit of a bottleneck there. I think we're going to see.
Certainly a bottleneck.
You know, if you want to get into the finals, you got to get on.
You're absolutely going to have to push through that move.
You're going to push through that.
Yeah.
You never know, though, Mike.
That's true.
Sometimes these first competitors come out, put on quite the show, and we just keep waiting and waiting. I mean, you got to stay tuned in here to the broadcast and see what's going on, or make your way down here to Bridgeport and check it out live at Reach.
Yeah. No better facility to watch competition.
Mike, I could probably, do some deflecting here and say, I messed that previous name up. Can I blame USA Climbing on, like, John Muse for that or something?
I don't know how John would feel about that, but we could try.
I've known John a long time, back when he was called the Big Rig, you know. Now he's vice president.
He is.
Of sport.
He is.
USA Climbing.
Quite an important position.
He's an important guy.
He is.
Maybe I shouldn't deflect on him.
Yeah. Not if we would like them back here.
All right, getting set here. So we've got both our male and female getting ready to begin. Mike, who do you have here on the men's? He's already getting started.
We have Josh Greenbaum. Josh is from Maryland, climbs out of Earth Treks. He's been climbing for 7 years. And interestingly, he is still climbing at a competitive level despite having finger surgery only a year ago.
And for the ladies, Olivia Hermanos, she's from Pennsylvania. I have here that she goes to Temple, so that's cool, collegiate. She's getting started on women's semifinal, on the right, the blue. Mike, do you know Olivia at all? Does she climb here?
Olivia climbs here. Olivia is a long-time Philadelphia local. She grew up in the area. Her father is a good climber. Like seeing him in the gym. She has been competing since she was a youth and continues to do so now as an adult.
Very cool. And that seems to be a theme that I've noticed when talking to competitors in ISO. A lot of youth, a lot have been doing this for a long time.
A lot of lifers.
Lifers. Well, that's good for USA Climbing. I mean, they get them in and they want to stick around.
Yeah.
Mike, you have 2 young children. Do you see them getting into climbing?
I hope so.
It'd be helpful. You own a gym.
Free birthday parties for life. So Josh is also likes making. He does professionally makes documentaries for C-SPAN. Not sure what they're about. He said they're all political in nature.
All right, we'll just leave that alone then. Yeah. Josh looking strong though. You look at him. He's feeling the vibes here on a Sunday morning.
Giving a look back.
Yeah. Here's Olivia on the women's semifinal, working her way through. Looking quite composed. And we know that this route kicks up, and there's been a bit of a bottleneck, and we're looking for some new high points. It was Ella Tillery that showed us that we believe she got the plus on that hold that no one's been able to hold. That's not official, though.
Josh making his way up.
I think we've only seen one other competitor kind of get up into some of this, right?
Could be, he's getting up there into high point territory if he makes the next 2-3 moves. Looking pretty casual.
Absolutely. Document that.
Going into this blocked hold here. For those who don't know, block means where his left hand is, they put a hold blocking the entranceway to his hand to make it harder to go into.
Almost like a crack outside.
Yes.
It's got to make it tricky to try to sneak a foot in there. I would think otherwise he'd be slamming a heel hook right in there, but blocked.
Absolutely. They make it hard on purpose. I think that Josh has the high point with this.
I think so. Looking great. Wow. And
Josh
composed.
making a cross absolutely has the high point.
Another
no
rose
one
move.
has made it this far.
What?
Josh still moving up the wall.
Absolutely. Crushed that rose move.
Wow.
Hanging one-handed. Looked to be like, wow. Definitely high point there by Josh. Great effort.
Fantastic run there.
And we have Olivia on women's. Armanis from PA. She goes to Temple. Here she is up in that rose move as well. Let's see if she goes for the match. She does.
Olivia opts for the match, getting a good rest there.
Showing the flexibility as well. Opts not even to go to that holdout right now.
Right. Well, if you don't need it, you don't need it. Getting a heel hook, feeling the rest.
Mike, would you say when it comes to on-site climbing, you need a little bit of luck to be on your side? You choose a path, you need it all to work out. As much as you may have experience and skill and strength.
Olivia, it looks like, I mean, she had it in her sights. She almost looked like she was going to go back and catch herself on the crimp, but didn't quite have it.
She was looking casual, almost locking that move off. It's too bad because that is the high point at this point. If she would have known the consequences of holding that, would have made a difference.
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, maybe it would have given her the mental edge.
The mental edge and just the adrenaline alone, knowing you're so close to making such a difference.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know at home, yesterday's round, the qualifier, each competitor had 2 routes to do, and each competitor got to watch the other climbers on the routes. So that was it's not an on-site format. Whereas the difference here, everyone's in isolation. They're not allowed to watch their fellow competitors climb, and they don't know how to do the route. Everything is from the ground up.
Fly, I guess you would say. They're just figuring it out as they go. I love on-site climbing. I think it brings out the true skill. You get to see people figure things out. Mm-hmm. Some people excel at that, wouldn't you say, at on-siting versus red pointing?
Absolutely, especially the seasoned competitors, because there's such a mental aspect to it, to be able to read the routes, to know where to go, to have the confidence to choose a path and know that that's the way to do it. It's huge.
Absolutely. All right. So here we are for the women coming out. Suzu Cornelis, she's our oldest female competitor at 29. She's interesting. She just got her master's in sports psychology, longtime competitor, and she's the new full-time female route setter at Movement. She told me she was trained by Mike Moulter, old friend of ours, going way back. Michael James, what up? And she's a route setter, which is very cool in Boulder, and here she is competing.
Was she the first female route setter at Movement?
That's what I have here in my notes.
I believe I
don't
read
know
that
about
somewhere.
First, maybe though, maybe first. Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
Ryan Sewell also there heading that up at Movement,
Yeah,
correct?
heads up that program.
Yeah. A lot of great route setters coming out of Boulder through the years, going way back. Jimmy Rito.
Jimmy Rito.
Yeah. Paca Fabio.
Scott, actually 2 of the guest setters here sent by USA Climbing are from Movement.
Great. Well, Movement's a good gym to hang at then. They got some high-end setters.
You know, they've got some good setters. They've got all that time outside for inspiration.
Well, you would know, Mike. You attended University of Colorado, spent some time in Boulder yourself. I visited, had some fun with you and Rob D for sure. Mike, who do we have on course for the men?
We have Joshua Fitzpatrick here. He's from Georgia and climbs for Teen Stone Summit.
Stone Summit, beautiful gym. I remember my friend Darren down there built a great facility. I've been there a couple times for World Cups, do some emceeing and setting.
What an impressive facility that is.
Absolutely.
If
Still
you-
has to be one of the bigger ones around. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. If you want to get strong, that's the place to go.
I remember it being a great program. Claudia was down there as well with his training programs and the youth.
So many strong youth competitors come out of there.
Hotlanta. So once again, Suzu Cornella on women's. Let's see if she uses that route setting experience to figure this one out. We've seen a couple different ways. We've seen some people commit to the Rose move. And we've seen some people do the power match and kind of get through the sequence. I don't think the power match necessarily makes it any easier. It just cuts a move out.
Right, right. So it seems like most of the competitors are actually opting for the match. Puts you in the same position. Like you said, I don't know that it's any easier, but it works.
Absolutely.
Suzu making quick work up to here.
Yeah, and here she is. She doesn't know it, but she's looking at what is the high point in the next 2 holds. If she can control that screw on that feature, that would give her the high point.
That would be it.
That
She'd
would
be
be
in the
it.
lead.
Which means this left hand must be pretty slopey, Mike.
And I think it's all about stepping up on that right foot. That right foot really isn't very
Oh,
good.
there it is, folks.
Wow.
High point for Suzu Cornella. And she's got more in the tank, it looks.
Oh, yeah. Looks like
Chalking up.
no problem. She's looking very smooth.
Now, Mike, you were saying from forerunning, though, this route really starts to
This
pick
is
up.
the next 2 moves are quite powerful.
Awesome go from Suzu. She's our oldest competitor there, 29, which, take it from me, is not that old, but and getting a high point, so got to be psyched with that effort. She's from Colorado, a setter at Movement, has her master's in sports psychology, and probably putting that master's to use right there.
Right, right.
Hopefully we'll get to see her in finals. We'll see.
Would love to. Next up for the men, Alex Lopez, another Maryland, D.C. area native, climbs for Team Earth Treks. He's been climbing about 10 years now, he says, and in his spare time, he produces music and beats.
Oh, regular Dre.
Yeah.
Doing beats. All right. And for the women, getting set to go, Phoebe Troop Galligan. She's 20 from California, Berkeley. I asked her if anybody, because her name, Phoebe Troop Galligan, I'm like, did anybody call you PTG? Because to me, as an announcer, it just seems a little easier. And she's like, no, but I dig it. So PTG in the house. Phoebe Troop Galligan from California, getting set for the women's.
Scott, you're no stranger to giving nicknames.
Some have stuck, some have not. Some people wanted, some they haven't. Mike, you were coined the nickname Brick by Joe Kinder, I believe, when you're...
That's true. It stuck for a long time. Hasn't followed me back to Pennsylvania.
Well, in your new professional career here.
Might happen now. Yeah.
Yeah. We've all had some nicknames along the way. Sometimes I just used to give nicknames when doing the emceeing, just for my own sake of making it a little easier on myself. Some stuck, some didn't. John Stack always had some good nicknames going as well. Rob D, you know.
Rob D.
Yeah.
You know, Rob D was actually here Friday night. It was a surprise Rob D visit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In town for a wedding. Brought him over. He wanted to help forerun. So he did the qualifiers with us.
Wow. And how'd he look?
Strong as ever. He's in preparation for the 24 hours of Horseshoe Hell next weekend.
24 hours of horseshoe hell. Jeez.
He stated his goal. He's climbing with Vasya for Itnikov, and they've stated that their goal is to each climb 500 routes during their session.
24 hours, 500 routes.
Not sure how that's possible, but they have a plan.
Glutton for punishment. Well, they're engineers. I know they're probably thinking this thing through and, you know, figuring things out. Mike, what's going on the wall here? Let's see.
They're making progress.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that. He's looking comfortable. Alex from Maryland taking a rest, got the heel hook in.
And we have Phoebe on the women's. PTG, as I'm calling her. Phoebe Troop Galligan. She's from California, made the trek from Berkeley.
Alex is getting up there. Tucking that right heel under really locks him in.
Now, Mike, you're saying this wall's 40 degrees overhanging. Then you have a feature on there. That'll add even some more overhanging to it a bit, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Makes it, he's got some 3D climbing there. Left hand into the blocked hold. Kick that left foot out, making the cross. Let's see. He is.
Whoa.
Oh. I believe that he could be tied for second place. Second or third position with that run.
And for the women here, Phoebe on route.
Phoebe
she
showing
gets into the rose
flexibility.
move. Yeah, absolutely. Now we saw it was Ella, I believe, that really found a great rest here, and she was hanging out for a while, got a lot of composure up until Suzu was what we think was the high point. Oh, doing the rose
for
move.
the rose.
Textbook. That's got to make the route setters happy. Climbing out a picture. Oh, there you go. Good
There
job,
we go.
production, bringing us in.
Scott, I think this move, it's so key to keep your right foot on, and that right foothold is so small, you really have to focus on keeping that weight all up, pushing up, almost like a slab where you're pushing, all your weight is on that right foot.
Well, you can see here with the great camera work, a little shake in the foot. She's trying to keep herself composed, pull it together. Now, Mike, that's a feature bolted onto a feature, very 3D. Does that change the angle, the pressure you can get on that foothold?
Oh, yeah, it's climbing. It's almost
so close.
Dude, close to sticking that. You know, the way it climbs, it's almost like a power slab move where you're rocking, your right foot's up around the slab on the feature, and you have to do big, almost lock off with your left hand, but you're pulling your weight with your right to push you up onto the slab and balance and hopefully hit that right hand, which is not in cut, also a sloper, and to get established onto that lower angle feature.
So kind of different from what we're seeing the men's, which looks very powerful, slugfest-like. That women's crux move, very technical.
Very technical, very delicate.
Very delicate,
Yes.
which we've seen a lot in bouldering competitions and stuff these days where very technical moves, trusting a foot, very critical. So for a lot of these youth competitors and younger, they've been doing a lot of this stuff coming up through learning that technical aspect of climbing, but still proven to be a crux at this point.
Absolutely. I have to imagine at this point that left hand hold at the ladies' crux is probably not feeling very fresh anymore.
Well,
A lot of women chalking up right there and falling at that spot.
we have really good weather, actually. It's a cooler day here. The facility has great HVAC going on. It's comfortable in here. It's cool. You know, I don't think the conditions inside could really get any better.
That's true. That's true. It's low humidity. We're cranking the AC.
Now, they are, what, 50 feet up at that point? How tall is the facility?
The walls here are about 57 feet
57, okay.
total. So I would say, I mean, she's maybe close, maybe 2/3 up. We've got Derrick New starting out for the men. Derrick is a student at University of Colorado in Boulder, and he's studying physiology.
For the ladies, we have Julia Talbot from Utah. She's the head coach for Metro Rock, Utah. Don't know much about Julia. Wasn't able to catch up with her in isolation, unfortunately. But here she is.
She's moving along quite fast.
Yeah, making quick progress.
Double clip, moved very fast through the pocket.
It's great to see another head coach out here doing the competing, taking that experience, showing their climbers or that they coach, you know, that they're out there competing as well and bringing that experience with them. Another double clip from her. She's shown some great experience.
She's going for the jump here, feet cut. She's looking very smooth overall.
Looking confident, to be honest, too.
Derrick also making quick work. Looks strong in the jump. He's moving up the underclings. One thing we haven't mentioned is those feet on the men's route coming out of those underclings are quite small. They're all very small screw-ons. And most of your weight is on those feet.
Here we are with the block hold that the route setters did, making you have to be quite precise, hands and feet, to get into this. And here, this has been a bit of a high point. Oh, nice
Looking
sequence.
good. This move has caused some confusion for some of the competitors. They're not sure whether to go right or left hand.
He's doing great.
Derrick
cutting the feet through.
Looking strong.
Absolutely. Let's not forget about Julia here. Julia Talbot, she's heading into this crux section so far for the women's semifinal. That left hand Mike was speaking of, got to be getting, and then putting the pressure on the right foot, a technical slab move. See if she can.
Derrick,
oh, there's that foot showing
Derrick
it.
making a high point for the men's.
Oh, here we go. Action is really picking up in Bridgeport, Pennsylvania.
Derrick looking strong.
Go.
Just keeps moving. Locks in that heel hook.
This guy is dialed in.
Crosses it out.
Trying to stamp his spot to the finals. And he's cruising.
Wow. Derrick gets the pinch.
Oh, great go from
Big side
Julia.
pull coming up. Big move to a side pull. Let's see if he can make this clip. Shaking.
Oh, boy.
Shaking. Oh. Great high point from Derrick New.
Wow.
Really
Cannot be
impressive.
disappointed with that. That was a great go. And he was cruising, Mike, hitting the sequence, hitting heel hooks, looking comfortable.
Did it all right. Moving fast, taking risk.
And Julia, for the women's, she couldn't jump over to her action quick enough. She did great getting through. I don't know if that was technically a high point with her and Suzu, but definitely sticking that first crux we haven't really seen too many competitors be able to get through. And hopefully that is going to, we'll see how it goes the rest of the way, but top 8 going to the finals tonight at 6 o'clock.
We'll see. Hopefully that's enough for Derrick to move on.
Now, Mike, you'll be doing the commentating online. Charlie will be back. Charlie did speed with you on Friday night. Charlie, fortunately, couldn't be here for semifinals. I'm filling in a little bit. I'm more the in-house MC. But you and Charlie got something good going.
Oh, we do. We do. We've got a great event planned.
I'm just happy to fill in here a little bit, sitting in, doing some commentating for you folks at home who couldn't be here, friends, family, cheering on your competitors. We're doing our best to be the conduit from what we're seeing and what we can talk about. Names, information, what's going on. As much as we're sitting here in the venue, it's live off to our left. We're watching a big screen TV just like you at home and just kind of talking about what we're seeing and just trying to help fill in the kind of blanks a little bit.
So coming up for the men, we have Samuel Vasquez out of Miami. So Sam has been competing for the last 10 years out of Florida, climbs at the Edge Climbing Gym. and was very excited coming to the semifinal.
Florida. You know, Florida, through the history, from what I remember, remember Matt Siegel came out of Florida.
Sure.
Miami, never known for really a ton of climbers, but hey, Matt Siegel did it.
Yeah, every once in a while you get these breakthrough athletes.
And Brian Solano, who did a lot of production stuff and filming. Solano, also a Miami guy.
Absolutely. Jacksonville, I believe.
You and Matt Siegel, close in age, you guys competed a lot around the same time?
We did. We competed a lot in the youth and adult circuits. Matt has since transitioned into hard trad climbing and is going in the outdoor direction.
Very good. So for the women here on route, we have Jillian Gerlitz. Jillian is from Boulder. She's 18. She climbs for Team ABC. I have in my notes here, it's her first open comp, so pretty cool, putting herself in semifinals. Probably came through the youth as well, seeing as she's on Team ABC. Robin doing a great job, as always, there in Boulder with Team ABC. They've produced some Olympians, right, Mike?
They did, yeah. Yeah, Colin Duffy came out of that program.
Very.
And Brooke.
Right. Robin was always a great competitor herself. I'm dating myself here, knowing all this. And Robin would also help in some forerunning. When I used to set some comps, she would come out of retirement, per se, and do some forerunning for me. And she would bring the heat in forerunning.
Wow.
She could have won those comps.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, she brings it.
Did DDA help you too?
No, just Robin. Just Robin would do the forerunning. Anytime I do a comp in Boulder, I could usually count on her being there early that morning, hyped.
Sam making his way through the jump, shaking it out on the match.
Jillian here heading into the Rose move. Let's see which sequence she opts for. We've seen some climbers really use their flexibility there and find that stretch. She's going with the power match. Mike ran this route. Said kind of no matter the sequence you go on, the power match or to do the Rose move, kind of equal in difficulty. You're not really, it's just which way you decide to go, which is a great job by the route setters, just that there is a couple sequences and yet they're equal in difficulty.
A few places where there are options, other places where there aren't.
So here she is heading into what we kind of know as the first kind of big crux here, this left hand. Trusting the right foot, very technical.
There she goes. Let's see if she can stand up tall.
Almost locking it off.
Almost static.
She needs to get the weight over a bit here, though. It looks like she's going to try and go a little more dynamically. Oh, we lose her here on the screen. But
there she is. Gets the hold.
Nicely done. Jillian Gerlitz here.
And I can tell you, that hold is nothing special. It's not in-cut. It's a sloping edge.
She's looking kind of casual, but she's trusted. Now she has her left foot on that small foot. And, Mike, you were saying it's not very good.
Oh, it's tiny. Yeah, that's a miserable foot she's on.
But we have yet to see a competitor kind of be able to chill like that in this sequence. So she could be looking at making a big push. Oh, there we go with the close-ups on the feet. Very nice.
Across. Now, this is a move here.
Oh, that's
very strong.
Very
Locks
nice
it
by
off.
Jillian. Robin's got to be pleased back home. Setting a high point, and she's charging.
Definitely charging, looking very strong.
Now, Mike, you said it gets quite cruxy up here.
She got through the part that I thought was very cruxy. That hooded crimp that her right hand is on.
Yeah.
Going to that was quite a move for me.
And she's still chalking, finding composure.
This flexibility is helping her.
Absolutely. I mean, there it is. The anchors are close.
She's getting there.
She's, obviously getting the onsite on this would probably put you in finals.
I would think it has to.
Think at this point. Trying to be the top 8 going to the big show tonight, the finals. Whew. Interesting sequence here.
Looking strong. Left foot just off the foothold. Doesn't matter.
Jillian.
Bumping in.
And still finding the ability to chalk up. Not really digging any of these holds, but she's committing.
Up there.
Very comfortable. Mike, can you comment? How is that sloper?
Sloper is bad. It's really bad.
It looks bad. And she's trying to figure the sequence out, which is impressive. At this point, she's got 49 seconds left, so she's been up here for a while. She's still showing that great endurance.
She has been.
Kind of unexpected.
Definitely unexpected. Yeah,
Nonetheless, setting a high point and could just, nothing's official from us as the commentators, but putting in a big effort trying to get into finals tonight.
not only high point by a large margin.
True, very true, Mike. In this men's route, Mike, we have yet to quite see the success we are on the women's. This thing is just brutal.
Oh, it's spitting everyone off.
I think it is showing that it is truly a 13D as I couldn't really get the full commitment from the setters. They were like, 13 plus. I'm like, why don't you just call it 13D and be about it, you know?
They like keeping it mysterious.
Of course, setters. They don't want to commit to anything. So action is heating up here at Reach, Bridgeport, Pennsylvania.
So coming up, we have Darren Skolnick. Darren is a fantastic competitor, a Reach local really from New Jersey, comes down to compete and practice on our speed wall.
I remember Darren from, I did some emceeing of the speed. Yeah, he makes the trek down. Darren did quite well in the speed. He did a great job. And
Darren's third place in the speed.
Third place, nice.
Yeah, beating Colin Duffy. And he's first year in Brandeis going his freshman year. And he's a youth Pan Am champion in speed. Lead more of a secondary event for him, but whenever I see him in the gym here, he is always bringing his game.
Gotcha. Yeah, he looked great on the speed wall. And, beating Colin Duffy, Colin, I remember saying that he had set his best PR, 6.2 at speed that morning in qualifying. So he was feeling on his game, too. So pretty impressive for him to get that third spot.
To come in, absolutely, against a crowd like this.
Yeah, for sure, nonetheless. It's cool that he does train both aspects. And, he's comes down here, trains at Reach. And for the ladies, bib number 22, Nikaya Sanders. Nikaya's interesting. I spoke to her. She said she spends half her time in Oregon, half her time in California. She's 17. She's from a youth national team. Was at the World Bouldering in Russia, 9th in Worlds. I have here in my notes. So Nikaya, she's en route for our women's semifinal. Let's see how she does compared to Jillian. Jillian, who definitely setting a high point by quite a bit. Nikaya Sanders coming through. Has the experience from her youth and doing her worlds bouldering in Russia. See how it transfers over to lead climbing.
Darren, fresh off the Youth World Championships in Russia where he competed in speed, is still in good shape. Would love to see Darren have a high finish here. Darren with the jump, no problem.
Nikaya Sanders here. She's moving up through. Hit that first jump move. Looking casual, composed. She gets up into the rose move. That's where this climb really starts to build for the women. Semifinal. Route setters were saying it's somewhere around 13 BC. Looking like to be all of that C at this point, but we'll see. Some the highest qualifying from yesterday yet to come out.
Darren making this midsection look pretty casual, going into that hooded hold out left. Really moving very fast, putting his speed climbing background to good use.
He's
There he
climbing
goes.
with authority.
Seems very confident, knows where to go.
Same with Nikaya here. Nikaya Sanders, she's heading into this kind of crux as we know it. Got to get the clip and then snag that right hand. Skolnick.
Darren with the crowd behind him, hometown favorite.
Oh. Action really picking up here.
Darren
Nikaya taking
moving.
a good rest.
Oh.
Oh, Skolnick. Great effort.
Darren Skolnick falls, but a great effort by Darren.
Mike, he's got to be pleased with that effort.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be. Good effort by him.
Nikaya here working through
Nikaya's
this sequence.
Still on the wall. Working her way around this volume.
Now, Mike, you were saying this is really cruxy, but it was Jillian who just went and made it look pretty casual.
And Nikaya did too.
Yeah. Nikaya, she's coming out of California and Oregon. She splits her time. Like we said, she's well experienced from her youth and did youth world bouldering in Russia.
Nikaya, very flexible. Gets her foot. That left.
Look at that
foot
flip.
Placement.
Nicely
It's hard
done.
to get. As you can see, that left
Wow.
foot, you have to get it right in between those two holds.
Yeah, and she does the drop back. Like a traversy little section there. Nikaya, oh, great go. Right up there with Jillian for the high point.
Strong go by Nikaya.
Nikaya, yeah, definitely doing well. We're starting to see it pick up here for the women's. Getting up there. Yet to see a top on either semifinal, though. But once again, we are working our way down to our top qualifiers. Yesterday, I think, did Jesse, did he top both yesterday?
Jesse topped both, the only competitor to do so.
Gotcha.
And the only competitor to top the pink route yesterday.
That pink route, very technical yesterday, watching that. It was
Very technical, very funky.
very funky.
Yeah.
The other one, the green one that I believe it was we were watching, was a little more straightforward, bouldery, powerful, but the pink, technical for sure.
Very technical. Yeah.
So Jesse will be coming out last for the men. He had a great showing. And then last for the ladies, we'll have Melina Costanza. She did great yesterday as well. She topped out. I know she topped one. I forget if she topped both of them.
I believe she did.
Did she really?
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing them coming out last.
So now we have a break. Setters are going to go up for probably much needed brushing.
Setters earning their money here, jugging away on yarding on quick draws. Always feels good after a week of route setting. Your hands are just shot. Given a much needed clean, especially on this women's. We were commenting, definitely that left hand, which previously was proven to be a bit of a crux, but the last two competitors out were able to get through that section, get some high points going. And now we're kind of seeing some new cruxes start to appear on both men's and women's to let us see what, it takes to unlock a top.
Well, I'll tell you, they really put these setters to work.
Well, monitors at home checking out some of the previous action.
Scott, I bet you don't miss being up there right now.
No, definitely not. These route setters today, I'm going to be that old crusty guy. They have lifts and all that good stuff. When we were setting, we didn't have lifts. If you're lucky, you had an ascender and a fixed rope. But they definitely earn their money and, work hard. And when you're a route setter setting at a big comp, it's got to be a true passion. You're putting yourself out there. It can all go really well, and you can get a lot of great feedback. It can also go really bad, and you can get a lot of hate as well. So as a route setter, at a big comp, you're kind of taking some risks.
Yeah. Thin degrees.
But, setters now, it's great to see. I think, was there 5 setters or 6 setters that was working on this one?
So the USA Climbing has 3 setters here, and 2 of which are from Movement.
Okay.
And the others from Summit Gyms in Texas. And then we have our 3 setters ourselves,
So
helping them out.
Yeah, 6 setters, which is great. And then, they're all can set and four run. They obviously had you, Mike Feinberg, do some 4 running, which is great.
Hopefully I helped.
I went back to my setting days, 4 runners became a thing, and it really did help. I used to almost say if it was up to me, I'd put duct tape over their mouth and just watch them. I didn't even really need a ton of feedback from them. As a setter, I could just watch their movement and kind of know what was going on. And then as you gain experience with your 4 runners, you work with them through the years. I had some great ones all my years of setting, dating back. Johnny Hork was always a really good one whenever in Colorado. He a setter as well. John Caldwell would also be. Hey, here we are, guys.
Hey.
Mike
We're on
Feinberg and
screen now.
myself. Yeah. Casual Sunday here in Bridgeport.
Oh.
Check us out. Mike, you're looking casual here.
Well, yeah, I was a little reclined there, but I'll sit up straight now that I'm on camera.
True enough. Jeez, I got gray. Wow.
Sketch, who would you say that your best forerunner was through the years?
Wow. I had a lot of good ones dating back to comps I did. I used to do a lot of high-end bouldering competitions in Utah and Boulder, and there was so many good people. One time I had Jerry Moffitt as a forerunner. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Jerry was a character to work with.
Yeah.
One time I was setting for a bouldering comp in Utah. The trade show was in town, and Frederick Nicole forehand for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
You've got
hard
all the
to,
stars.
I did have the stars. A famous Japanese climber, I forget his last name. Yeah. He foreran. He was awesome. But, it was usually the local guys who would show up. I would learn a little bit about them. They knew the gym well. First funny story, first bouldering comp, I set big bouldering comp in Utah. Mike calls like, hey, there's this local guy. I'll get him to help you forerun. I set all day. I think I got these hard problems. He comes in and just crushes them. I'm thinking I set him too easy. His name was Steve Maish. He's really well known. I call Mike call. Hey, Mike, what's the deal with this guy? He's like, oh, no, Steve's super strong. Don't worry. And Steve was a very modest forerunner. He's like, yeah, they're kind of hard. They're nothing major. Turns out Maish was a machine, as Le Machine, as we would know him as.
Maish should have competed.
Oh, yeah.
Would have won the comp.
He was a guy, though, light climbing, not really, got into the competition side. So forerunners, critical, in the whole process. And I'm sure they still are today.
Absolutely. Although I feel like the route setters now are so skilled, at least in my observation of setting for this event, are so skilled in knowing the talents that they can forerun their own routes. They don't seem to need people. I mean, they were happy I was helping out, but it was more for my benefit than theirs, it felt like.
Definitely. Just having you forerun for them, it's a fresh set of eyes. Sometimes when you're staring at something everybody's been working on setting and you're kind of focused in on one move. Like take, for example, this women's semifinal, that Rose move, I'm sure they knew that power match was a possibility, but maybe you jump on as a forerunner, you see it one way, you grab a sequence, they never really saw it because they're so focused in setting it one way. From my experience, setting Rose moves was always difficult. You almost had to use two-finger pockets to force the move so they wouldn't do a power match. And even then, you would have some people try to match a pocket and such. So making something like a Rose move be only done one way, very difficult to do. It's good to have forerunners. Some setters, I worked with Tony Yaniro back in the day, and he would use Bondo on like pockets and stuff, fill them in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, make it so you knew like, oh, there's that sinker two-finger pocket. Tony would fill it in. Now it's only like not a sinker anymore. He would also use a grinder quite a bit to like almost make like the first dual-tex holds. He would grind the top of the hold to make it smooth. So Tony, like a total visionary in route setting, going back. I had the pleasure of working with him. I think I got my national cert with him way back. Rockin' and Jammin', if you remember that place in Thornton, Colorado.
Sure.
Yeah.
Filling in pockets, that's next level.
I don't know.
I'll tell you, that would be, I don't know that that's been done since. I'd love to see that in competition now. A lot of these holds these competitors know and are familiar with. Let's say you throw in one with a filled-in pocket, they don't know until they grab it. That'd certainly be a surprise.
Definitely a surprise. I'm not sure if they'd be thrilled with it, especially if you're looking at a hole thinking, I know that it's a two-finger bucket. I get there, I'm going to rest. You dead point for it. Oh, it's only one digit deep or something. One pad. Oh, no.
As a spectator, I'd love to see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tony also used to, fill in like where you would sometimes put your thumb in the bolt hole to make like a little bit of a pinch on the hold. He would bond, once the hold was on the wall, set where we wanted it to, Bondo it on, and then when it came to taking off, we would have to drill out the Bondo to get the bolt back out. Yeah.
Wow.
Going back.
True visionary.
Well, a long time ago, Tony used to shape holds for straight up. There was the Yaniro training collection, and his pockets and pinches and edges were awesome. Like I used to use them when I used to route set. This is going in the 90s. And his pockets were some of the best. Like I would use them even into the 2000s, if I would be in a gym and I would see some of these old Yaniro pockets laying around, I'd go over, take them off their walls, and be like, I'm going to use this in the comp because I love them.
Scott, I still remember those Yaniro holds, and I may have some in my basement somewhere. I've got a bin of old holds I had in my garage when I was younger, and I used to always try to collect the ones with the Y on it.
Absolutely.
And also I did the old straight-up holds as well.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the classics.
They were. I mean, straight up holds, I was lucky enough to work with them and knew some of the shapers, when they were based out of Boulder, and Ian Powell dating back shape for straight up, and Mike Pont, Tony Yaniro. There's a whole crew, and some of those holds were just classics. I'm sure if you climb at Cats or somewhere like that in Boulder, you're familiar with the old straight up holds. Some of those have been on the wall for a long time.
I wonder if those holds have any value.
I don't know.
We've got Darren Skolnick here. We're going to ask Darren about the route.
Awesome. Let's bring him in.
Right before we get the other competitors back to start. Here you go, Darren.
Hello, everyone. This is Darren. I believe that I spoke briefly with you after Speed Finals the other day. So I would love to chat a little bit about the route. Is there anything that you think the viewers would like to know specifically?
Well, Darren, Scott Meckler here. I'm doing some commentating. I'll be doing the emceeing tonight. I did the emceeing when you did Speed. You did awesome.
Thank you very much.
Put yourself on the podium.
Thank you.
Very nice. And you looked comfortable up there. Mike and I commentating, saying this route, for one, it's steeper than people can probably tell on the monitors.
Yes, absolutely.
40 degrees. Very powerful looking up there. Kind of a slugfest.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say it was a secure or more secure style than yesterday's climbs. Yesterday was a little more slabby, trusting your feet a bit more. And during the preview, from what I realized, these feet looked pretty bad. But once you were up there, they were a bit more, a bit bigger. You could get a little more comfortable on them than I expected. It was more of a power fest, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah, that's what we noticed commentating. We were noting like the first kind of crux is that right hand big pinch, quite a long move up to the left hand, and and then you dyno to it, hang it. Did you power match there? Do you remember? It's like the first feature when you're looking going up.
I don't believe that I did. I think I hit it with my left hand and I brought both my feet up. But during the preview, a lot of the climbers were debating if it was going to have to be a full dyno, and one of the theories was that we could go both hands, or just hit it left, and it turned out that we're able to just more or less dead point and keep the right hand on.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then from there, you get into those features, underclings. Mike was saying how bad the feet are over there, like really small dime edges.
Yeah, that was actually one of the sections that was as bad as we expected in the preview. It was a little more lower down, that they were better than they looked, but there you definitely had to smear on the wall and really trust the small feet.
So using a lot of power there, a lot of core to get the pressure into those underclings on those features.
Absolutely, and into the bicep also.
Yeah, were you feeling the pump starting to come on there pretty good?
I was, yeah. It was right around that section, maybe a little bit higher that I started to feel it in my forearms, and kind of like what I was saying earlier, this was also a full body pump. It wasn't just, arms, because it was such a physical style.
So favoring the powerful climber here a little bit, or maybe the well-rounded. It is technical in some places. You're saying the qualifiers yesterday a little more technical.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice. And then up above, we noticed that one hold has the blocking hold in there. Looks like a pretty hard move up there. It starts unwinding a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, there was definitely a good section in there, but the blocker kind of threw us off. We had to make sure to hit it accurately, and then we're also debating if we're going to go in with a Gaston match or going undercling with the right hand. And I believe I went Gaston. No, actually I went undercling. Undercling.
Very nice, very nice. Awesome. Well, this is Darren Skolnick on here giving us a little bit of his insight into what he experienced. He had a great go. At this point, we're nothing official here with results, but I would think you're up there, looking like a good go. We'd love to see you in the finals. Obviously, top 8 go tonight for the big show.
Absolutely.
It'd be pretty cool. Finals for speed and for difficulty if it works out.
I'd be very psyched on that, so thank you very much.
Pleasure having you, man. Good job out there.
Thank you.
All right, we're back in action here on the wall. We have both male and female on our semifinals. Mike getting back on the mic with me after Darren. Let's get figured out here who we have.
We've got William Moss climbing for the men. William from New York City, very strong youth competitor, and I must say a burgeoning star on the trad climbing East Coast scene.
Well, we know that, is close to your heart.
It is. Will climbs a lot at the Gunks and has last year put up an ascent of one of the hardest routes there called Bro Zone 14A trad climb. And he's working on a project very in close proximity to it, which I believe he's close on.
Wow. There's been a long history, especially yourself now being an East Coast trad guy, liking that stuff. I remember Brian Kim as well. You guys all going back.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a long tradition at the Gunks, those hard trad routes. Cool to hear that a young climber like himself is doing both, and now he's out here competing in semifinals.
It's great to see, and it's not something you regularly see a lot of young people doing. But Will, I mean, not only has a strong competition head, but he's got a steel mental ability outside as well.
It's got to help a bit too, crossover. You're super solid on sketchy gear placements and doing these high-level trad routes. Come inside and, you're on the indoors, hard plastic routes. You're feeling the crowd, you're feeling the pressure, but there's got to be some crossover there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for the ladies here on semifinals, we have Laurel Falk. Laurel is 20 years old from Arizona. She goes to the University of Arizona. I think this is her second time in semifinal, she was telling me. She's been competing, I think, since she was 8 years old. So she's been at this for a long time. She's 20 years old now, and she's kind of come through the youth program. Started at 8 years old. She's telling me in isolation she's really using that experience, that confidence to hopefully help her through this round. She was thrilled, wanting to make it to that top 8, to be in the finals tonight. It's a big cut, 26 down to 8. You really have to put a huge effort in. Obviously, on-sighting the route gives you your best chance at making it to the finals. Both our athletes here working through some cruxes.
Will audibly trying here. Will's strengths are really typically endurance-based.
Well, he's going to need it. But as we heard Darren saying, this is quite a slugfest, powerful route. Very bouldery, different from qualifying. You say, whoa, the effort is there, though.
Left. Unique beta there, but making it work.
Absolutely, on the blocked hold. And Laurel, here she is through that rose move, heading into what we know to be one of the first cruxes. If she can get through this, we've seen a couple competitors get a bit higher. Oh, Will, huge effort.
Big effort by Will. Big fall, making it high
Laurel.
on the road.
Laurel feeling victim to that crux we've known from our earlier competitors.
So we are now into the second half of this competition. A lot of big names to go.
Absolutely. Here's a replay of Will. Wow,
Will's
now
shaking
there's a
going to the
rose
pocket.
move on a pocket, Mike, like I was saying. You can force it. He still goes for that power match, though, on it. You can figure, though, it's not a great hold to match on if it's a pocket.
I don't know if it's possible. It seemed to be more in desperation.
That's that trad climbing coming out. Mike, do you find all your years competing, you competed a lot in bouldering and in routes. I kind of knew you more as a bouldering when you're growing up, and then you kind of switched over to the route climbing. How much does that help you now as you, in your golden years in your trad climbing, do you find that basis for you really helps a lot?
The bouldering background.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. I think, it's common these days for when kids start out, you boulder more. That's what a lot of the competitions are, local competitions. And, when you grow up, you get older, you start route climbing, and when you have that base of power, it's a huge factor in people getting stronger.
Do you find, the power you had when you're younger, are you more endurance now, less power? Were you able to maintain that power?
Power's harder to come by these days, Scott.
Absolutely. Father time is tough on us.
It's
Father
tough.
time is tough.
The kids don't make it easy, but I can still, look, I can always train for power, and when you have a background in it, doing it from a young age, it comes much easier than it would otherwise.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the endurance, endurance is something as we get into those later years, as I do some endurance sports myself, you can keep on training that endurance and keep on building upon it, which is great. And if you can just kind of keep the power where it was at and keep on training, and we obviously get wiser in our training also.
Oh, yeah. It's becoming nothing if not more scientific.
Absolutely. So we got our climbers on the wall here in our semifinal rounds. Who's on deck here for the
We've got
men?
Owen Taravella for the men, based out of Western Massachusetts. He competed through his youth, but he's aged out. He's no longer a youth competitor. Now he's on to bigger and better things in these adult competitions.
And for the ladies, on route, number 4 bib, Helen Stevens. Helen's from Stone Summit, Atlanta. She's 18 years old. That's Stone Summit Gym. We spoke of it earlier. Big facility in Atlanta. Good friend Darren built that gym years ago. Still one of the bigger ones. Hosted a lot of the World Cups in the past, youth nationals. And so Helen's no stranger to these big walls if she's climbing at Stone Summit. Probably plenty of endurance as well.
So many strong youth members come out of that team. It seems like every competition you go to, you've got Stone Summit kids.
Which is interesting because, through the years, even back when I was setting, we remember, there was always these strong programs. There was Vertical World, I think it was, out of Washington, Tyson. I think Molinas from his program originally. There was the programs out of Boulder, obviously, that had some really strong
Certainly.
kids coming out of. Texas had a lot of strong youth as well. I'm sure you're hoping to do the same thing here in Pennsylvania with your facility. You have a youth team and
Absolutely.
coaches.
Yeah, we put a lot of emphasis on our youth team, and we recently built the youth training facility next door here called The Factory. And that's dedicated to our youth team and setting special climbs for them in more of a competition style.
Very cool. Investing in the youth and the future here at Reach, doing The Factory. It's pretty cool. They have an indoor ninja training center as well. My 5-year-old son takes part in that every Saturday. Loves it.
Pretty soon we'll move him from ninja to climbing, Scott.
Maybe. We'll see. Then I'll be one of these junior dads hanging out, yelling at scores. Or route setters. No, luckily from my experience as a route setter and organizer, I'll be the parent who just chills on the side. So here we are. Helen doing well. She's hit that first crux we know, trusting that right foot. Oh, solid.
Boom.
Oh, sneaks the heel in there,
Well, the
too.
heel hook, very solid heel hook there. Really locks her in.
Absolutely.
Smart move.
Very composed, yeah. She's going to start to traverse to the right here. This sequence we know to be tricky, hard. Mike was saying in forerunning just how difficult it was. But we did see some of our competitors go through here.
These ladies are all making it look easy.
Yeah, locking things down.
That lock off for me, it felt difficult. These ladies making it look like no problem at all.
Yeah, traversing through. What's going on here in the men's? He's eyeing up a big move.
He's eyeing up.
Oh,
Ooh.
trying to skip a holdout left.
Yeah. Not a wise decision in retrospect. Maybe he thought he had it.
Helen Stevens, though, from Stone Summit, Hotlanta, she's working her way through here, trying to be the first one to top. She's definitely in the high point range, what we've seen from the women so far on the semifinal. Oh, nice. Moving well. She's going for that switch.
She's getting up there.
Yeah, we saw this drop back move. This is Cruxy for sure. And she's close.
She's close. Oh, that was it. That
For
was
sure.
it. Bring that left hand in, right hand up to the sloper.
Definitely looking like another crux that we've seen from that very first one from earlier with the tricky right foot. Now getting this traverse out right. There's the switch move. You spin your hand back in and getting technical up there.
Certainly, very technical. And it's kicked back too. You can't tell from the screen, but it is overhanging up there.
Mike, in your professional opinion, will we see some tops on these?
I expect to.
Really?
I do.
I'd have to say I'm with you. You know, we're getting now into the qualifying a little bit higher up from yesterday. We did have some competitors top both, and I'm thinking as we get down to it and our top maybe top 10 from yesterday and top 5, when it comes down to who's going to make that top 8 going to finals, we're going to start seeing some tops, which is going to be exciting because it's going to really make finals quite the show.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of strong people left to go. We got 11 competitors left. We've got 2 Olympians. We've got former national champions. It's going to be tight getting into those 8 spots.
Absolutely. Yeah, finals tonight, 6 o'clock. You know, we're going to be live again doing commentating. Mike, you'll be on the mic with Charlie. I'm going to do the in-house emceeing. I'm sure they'll pipe me in for some interviews and such, but I'm going to get the crowd going here on a Sunday night as best I can.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's Sunday night, but we expect a big crowd. We've sold a lot of tickets so far.
Awesome. And it's a beautiful day here. Nice, like, kind of fall day, and it's going to be great. People are going to come out and hang out at Reach and enjoy the facility with us.
On the wall here for the men, Ben Wheeler. Ben is on Team Reach, has been with us since the beginning. Very strong climber, very strong climbing family. His brother is incredibly strong boulder, just going into his first year in Colorado College. Ben is coming off a trip to Colorado over the summer where he was climbing V12 consistently. Did a problem up at Mount Evans called No More Greener Grasses, V12, second try.
That's impressive. I mean, that's been a well-established boulder problem from way back from what I remember. Second try, V12,
Strong.
impressive. How is he on the routes? Does he have the endurance with the power?
He's more of a boulderer, but he's been working with his routes and he's gotten much better.
Very cool, very cool. And then for the women on our semifinal, we have Isis Rothfork. She's from New Mexico, Mojo, 17 years old. Spoke to her a bit in ISO. She was kind of casual. A lot of the girls doing actually braiding each other's hair, having fun, honestly, keeping it loose.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I think this is going to be a good go. Isis was one of them. She was clowning around a little bit, keeping it loose. So I expect some pretty big things from her. She seems experienced, been doing this a long time, and was confident, trying to also get into the finals.
That's one of the great things about climbing is seeing how supportive everyone is, especially in isolation. Everyone's friendly. There's no.
Yeah,
didn't seem like
isolations can be quite the pressure cooker in there. You see everyone approaches it differently. Some are off to the side, kind of just working in their own headspace, working ways through, doing their usual warm-ups. Others trying not to think about the pressure, clowning around, joking around, hanging out with friends. It all kind of depends on what works for you. Ice is working through that first kind of rose move, getting into that first crux we know of. We've seen a good bit now, several get through this move, but it can really still catch them if they're not ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben making progress. You can hear cheers from the crowd. Ben's really a homegrown, hometown reach climber.
Nice, and here's Isis getting through that first crux we
cutting.
spoke of. She's starting to make her way on
Nice.
this traverse right, where it gets quite ticky-tacky, a lot of like switch and come back into holds.
And Isis moving fast.
Yeah, she is. You're right. When you look at the clock up there, she's been making quick work. Wow, check out that drop knee, getting tech.
Come on. Both climbers. Ben going big. Oh.
Another climber trying to
Ben-
take that sequence there, just going big.
Yeah, Ben opting to skip that left hold. I don't know why that's, it seems attractive for some of the climbers. It's surprising because the hold out left, I believe, is good if you can get it in the right way.
Oh, Isis going with the match there rather than the switch, traversing, getting the right hand out and coming back in. Great go, though, for Isis. I mean, definitely that's up in the territory where we know to be the high point. Yet to see a top on either one of these routes. The women getting a little bit higher than the men at this point. But like we said, still some of the higher qualifier climbers from yesterday to come out. Isis was moving quickly. I mean, she had a lot of time left on the clock.
Looked
If
like
anything, committed to a sequence there that just didn't kind of work out for her.
Right, yeah, it didn't work out. Looked like she almost just lost her balance there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Mike, our job as commentators here, as I realized when you asked me to step in and do this, is like, all I can really do is try and be the conduit from what I'm seeing. I am here in Reach. We're watching the monitor, though. For the people at home, a little bit of background, a little bit of information, try to do our best to get the names correct. And, I know the Olympics just happened, and I didn't watch any of it, but I did hear, people saying, the Olympics could have done a little better job maybe and getting some commentating, a little more information out there.
Yeah, in my opinion, the commentating in the Olympics was rough.
Hey, maybe you and I are going for it,
Yeah. We can bring us to NBC.
I'm all good with commentating, please, bring me in. We'll be in Paris in 2024, I guess, right?
We'll go over there, drink some wine.
It's not an easy job, just like the route setters or, anybody kind of who's done any of these things at competitions. A lot of work, and we're just stepping in, trying to do our best to be commentating, get the information out there. And these climbers deserve to have their names, pronounced correctly as best we can. It's a little bit of information around them. They've worked hard, they've trained hard, make it to semifinals, top 26. It's definitely an accomplishment, and we're doing our best here. I did have a little slip up earlier. I mixed up two names. I'm sorry about that, and trying to make up for it here now as we get on. Little bit of rust, Mike. A little bit of rust.
Well, Scott, you haven't done it for a little while.
It's true. I haven't commentated a climbing competition since my 40th birthday. I'm 48, Mike. Well, soon to be 48. So 8 years out of the biz. Still always quite a talker.
But
though.
yes. But in your time, one of the best.
Thank you, Mike. You don't want to see my bill for the end of this. You shouldn't give me these compliments.
Gavin Albright for the men. Gavin from Madison, Wisconsin, but trains in Milwaukee, has a big commute to the climbing gym that he trains at Adventure Rock. He's the current lead champion for youth category, male youth A, which is a very hard category.
Interesting. And then for the women, we have Ashley Fisher. She's 19. She's from Boulder, Colorado. Spoke to her in ISO. I had a little background on her. Somebody gave me an information sheet. She was quite surprised I had this. She's going to Middlebury College in Vermont. She just competed in Youth Worlds. She's 19, like I said. She's doing well here. She's cruising along. Pretty wild. She's from Boulder, and she decided to go to college in Vermont. I'm not real familiar, Mike. A lot of climbing gyms in Vermont, a lot of climbing there?
Well, there's outdoor climbing. There's good outdoor bouldering. I
Okay.
believe there's a gym.
I always knew Middlebury, Vermont, or Vermont, if you were a skier growing up, you wanted to go to school in Vermont. Sure, they had good, strong programs.
Yeah.
Cool that she's elected to go from Boulder to Vermont for college. Obviously, she looks like she's not missing a beat here. She's cruising
She's
along.
going very fast.
Yeah. And we noticed that in the last competitor, Isis, as well. She made her way up the wall very quickly as well.
Mm-hmm.
Using a little cheeky drop knee there. Finding her way up. Getting into the rose move. We've seen it done a couple different ways. There's some more of that flexibility. She's a bit of a taller competitor.
It seems like it.
Which sometimes works an advantage and sometimes a disadvantage.
Right. I think it probably works as an advantage down low here, but up high it will be to a disadvantage.
Doing the rose move proud there. Textbook.
And Gavin showing why he's the current lead champion, youth lead champion.
Wow. And there's another rose move. I'm sensing a theme here in these semifinals with the setters. 2 rose moves in a way. Chris Danielson, be proud. There's some something going together. Actually, the first person I knew to really put the rose move into competition climbing was when I worked with Tony Yaniro, as I mentioned earlier. Tony loved pockets, very strong on them.
Mm-hmm.
And he could execute a rose move in a competition route or boulder pound for sure.
Gavin getting up high.
Absolutely.
We'll see how he gets out of this. He's in a big right hand undercling. Left hand sloping pinch.
And Ashley got through this first crux as we've known it. Oh, losing Gavin there.
Oh.
She's through the first kind of crux as we've become to know it, working into this technical traverse right. Ashley here.
She goes, grabs that crimp.
Yeah.
Left hand up on the volume.
It's interesting to see how her being a taller climber, how this fits her. We've seen the other ones, a lot of flexibility being used again. She's finding a good stance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Isis was falling there. She was going for like a quick match. See how she works this sequence out.
If she bumps or crosses through.
Whoa, interesting.
Goes for the bump.
Yeah.
Sloper coming in.
Mike, that has to be taxing at this point of the route, though.
Oh.
Totally blows off there, though.
Yeah. Almost slipped off. I mean, she was tired, but I wonder if she had the correct sequence, if she would have stayed on.
Well, the route setters not that long ago came out, brushed everything down, and we've only seen a couple competitors get up on those holds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fatigue can set in too. The routes seem to be building as they go up.
Certainly progressive.
Progressive, yeah. The pump starts to set in. Like you said, these walls are 57 feet high, and it's right up around after that 50-foot mark around there. It can kind of set in on you.
Oh, absolutely. You feel it.
Now, Mike, you were saying the men's wall is about 40 degrees overhanging. What's the overhang here on this women's? That's pretty steep as well.
That's steep as well. So it starts off at about 10, and then it kicks back to, I believe that's a 20-degree panel.
20 degrees up there?
Yeah, so not as steep, but still delicate overhanging climbing.
Right. And they're using these bolt-on features to give that 3D feel when they're climbing, you know, so the feet are sticking out from the wall and stuff, especially that first crux move. It's a feature with a little feature bolted on where the right foot is standing on. Mike was saying in his commentating earlier that it's hard to get the pressure on the foot and pull to rock your hips over on that move. Obviously, Ashley was making that move pretty easily and got pretty high. Definitely got herself in the running to make it to that top 8 going to finals tonight.
Up next, we have Lucas from New York State. I believe he lives on the Connecticut border, climbs at the Rock Club in New Rochelle, and he's on the national youth team as well.
Very cool. And then for the women, we're getting ready to go here. Bib 24, Abigail Humber. She's out of Virginia. She trains at Sport Rock. She's on the U.S. team 2019. She's 16. Interesting, she told me she was very psyched. She just red pointed her first 514 at the New River Gorge. She did proper soles.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
That's been around for a long time. I mean, even back in my days of climbing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, I think, one of the first 514s at the New.
I believe it was, and it's a fantastic route. She should be psyched.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see if she can take that recent accomplishment of doing 514 outside, bring it here and do some on-sighting in the gym. Abigail, she qualified well.
I'll tell you, that route takes some endurance.
That's down at the Cirque, if I remember correctly.
It is.
That's a big wall down there. I think
It's
it was
all.
Flying Brian put that up originally, if you remember him, going back. Flying Brian doing proper soles.
He might have been before my time.
Absolutely. He was a local. One of our competitors yet to come out, Solomon Barth. I remember when his dad was pretty psyched when Sol did proper soles, I believe. And it's a pretty long time ago. He's now one of our older competitors.
That's amazing.
And we're dating ourselves again.
Lucas squeezing up those features. Going into the blocked off hold.
Got to be quite exact with that hand, with that block there. He's eyeing, he's eyeing the
wants to
big
go
move
straight
too.
up. Oh,
Boy.
and Lucas is fooled. How many competitors? At least three or four that have tried to go straight up and missed it.
Yeah, exactly. They just try and they see the sequence. They don't want to go out left. They think they can take that strong power and just from the block hold go all the way up to that bolted on feature. So here's Abigail Humber trying to use that recently found red point endurance for the 514 she did outside and cross it over. She looks quite comfortable. She's, taking a rest, staying composed.
She's looking good. She's been on there for a while.
Yeah, she has. She's taking her time. And that's what's interesting about climbing, Mike, right? You've seen it. I've seen it. Everybody has their own style. Some people climb quick, very kind of quick movements. Others just, let's talk about back in the day, Vadim Vinokur. He climbed pretty slow. Took his time, and you're like, isn't he going to pump out? But he trained for that. He really worked the endurance side. But everybody has their own style out there. Abigail here. Oh, she's going for the power match on the Rose move. It was just earlier we saw Ashley really kind of do that Rose move, just textbook. And she got quite high, so she proved that sequence can be efficient as well. Abigail heading into what we know as this first crux. We've been talking about it quite a bit. This is where it really kind of picks up on this route. A little technical. Mike said this wall's about 20 degrees overhanging up here. Got to really trust this right foot.
Have to trust it. Very small foot.
Wow.
Reaches up, no problem.
Yeah, almost static. And finding this,
Gets the heel.
she's
Ropes
trying
in
to-
the way.
Rope in the way. Yeah. Looking comfortable, though.
Abigail getting some cheers from the crowd.
I mean, she's from Virginia, East Coast, so definitely probably has some friends and family here at Reach in the crowd. Yeah. Crowd's getting psyched for it here. I don't know if you can hear this at home. Definitely for an afternoon at Reach. Is it afternoon yet? Is it even 12? I don't know. We've been commentating. Who knows? Oh, 11:47. Yeah. We're cruising through semifinals.
This hold's amazing. She's shaking out. It must be the heel that allows her to stay on because that hold is just not very good.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's really locked in on that feature. We know the right foot to be kind of slippery and not that great, but she's really using the heel well. So here she starts to head out right. This sequence is proven to be kind of quite taxing, to be honest.
Right. It requires so much lock-off strength and so much crimping. A lot of strength in the fingers is required.
Abigail, though, going
Look at
for a
that
high foot.
Step.
High
Going for the
stepping
high
it
step.
up.
Have to pull up. Oh,
She's second-guessing something here, but she's digging in.
the pump setting in.
Oh, she's shaking it out. She wants to switch feet, it looks like.
You can see the fatigue.
Wow.
But she gets the next hold. She's fighting through it.
And she's
making the clip.
She's going for the clip. Mike, that's a little feature that has 2 screw-ons, correct?
It is.
It's a little feature, wooden feature, has 2 little screw-ons. Wow. She's using that 514 endurance she recently had to her strength right now.
That's right.
Great close-up here by the cameraman. We can really look in. You can see that little
you can see the size of those
screw-on
holds.
feature, yeah. She's trying to find out how to use it.
I think she's seeing if she can flip that. She's going to have to bring her left hand in now to go.
Oh, she's
no,
going
she doesn't.
again. Shoulders are on fire.
Very strong. Bring that left hand in.
She's composed. We've only
Abigail.
seen one other athlete get up here and kind of mess with this sloper.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she's fighting, though.
She's fighting.
Oh, go for a high point.
Oh. So I got close to high point.
Close to high point.
Close to
for
high
sure.
point. Didn't quite get the sloper.
Once again, it's only our opinion. Nothing official from us. We're not the scorers. But putting in a big go, trying to be in that top 8. And, I mean, we're getting down to it.
I would say that was a fight. That was fun to watch.
Absolutely.
You know, you love to see someone almost at their limit, which she was, and she just kept fighting and fighting and getting holds.
I mean, she's having a pretty good couple months, it sounds like. She just did 514 outside, her first 514. Here she is competing in the open competition, going quite high on the semifinal route, trying to get her way into finals. Definitely giving it 100%, though.
That's for sure. She's got that fight.
She's looking pumped.
She's got to be pumped.
The crippling pump. So, Mike, where are we at? How many we got left?
So we've got big name coming up. Another Reach climbing team member, Anat. Anat comes from New Jersey. He's been on the Reach's team for a while now. Very, very strong boulder, breaking into lead climbing.
Gotcha. Wow.
Looks like the judges are in deliberation. I think they're talking about where she got, where
really?
Abigail got.
The judges are talking it out.
Yeah,
So here we are in the replay. We can get a pretty good look. They're looking for what? The plus, whether the scoring's difficult, I understand. And I'm not even going to act like I understand it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to see. Yeah, there they are. They're talking it over.
Ooh, another thankless job being a judge.
Right. And the judges are all volunteer positions. Most of these USA climbing positions are volunteer, so these events wouldn't be able to go off without the help of all the generous volunteers that help to put these on.
So here she is. She's got that left hand, solid control. It's that next big sloper, I think that's in question.
Yeah.
Whether she makes movement off this left hand. She kind of gives the desperate jump.
She's looking down.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Second guessing.
And then at the very end, I think she goes for the sloper. Maybe the question is
But she
if
already
gets
had the upper left hand. She came back.
Yeah, certainly not control the sloper. Maybe credit for upward movement.
Making the judging job difficult for sure. So here we are. We're down to I believe our final 8 that's left. So, final 8, and we're taking 8 to finals. For the women, Nora Che.
Nora Chi. So Nora Chi comes from a very strong climbing family. She's got siblings that are national champions. She's very strong herself. Her family owns Method Climbing in Newark. It's a new bouldering gym that opened there.
Right. I met Nora earlier. She knows my good old friend Obi Carrion. Recently just had a baby girl.
Oh, that's
right. I was
right.
asking her if she's seen the baby. Yeah, so congrats to Obi out there.
Congrats, Obi.
Yeah. And so she's known Obi a long time, and she's a fierce competitor. As you were saying, I mean, she's been doing a lot of this. She qualified in the top 8. She was in speed as well on
That's
Friday.
Right. That's right. And we have Anat, Team Reach, making his way up the wall. Anat has worked so hard to progress in the sport over the last couple years, and the progression has really been visible in all aspects.
You know, now that you say it, Mike, I climb here a little bit at reach, and I've seen this young man climbing here. He is strong.
Strong, and he's here. He puts in the time. He's on the training plans. He's working with the coaches.
Does he train with Charlie?
Trains with Charlie.
Okay, awesome. Charlie will be commentating on the finals. Charlie is a well-experienced competitor himself, now a coach, high-level climber. Nora, she doing well. Nora was one of the ones I saw in ISO getting her hair braided. She was kind of chilling, having her hair done.
Relaxing in there.
Relaxing. There was a few of them doing each other's hair.
Yeah.
If I had much hair left, I would have got mine braided.
Scott, you're doing pretty well.
Mike, it's gray and I'm losing it, man. I was doing pretty well until I had a child 5 years ago. Obi, sorry, man. Mike, you know you have 2 young children.
Oh yeah.
Nora heading into this first rose move. She's
Nora
moving well.
Definitely moving fast. Nora seems to be moving with some speed, with intention. And taking some time to shake out. Looking at what to do.
Our men's semifinal here, he's looking really good as well. He's getting up towards, what we know to be one of the cruxes with this blocked hold.
And not an avid chess player.
Oh, interesting. Oh, we often talk about climbing and chess and thinking ahead and moves. What do you think? Does it help him?
Strategy must go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Nora here.
Nora.
Like what we know to be one of the first cruxes from earlier, getting off this left hand, trusting the right foot.
And not going out left, not fooled going straight up.
No, not at all. And Nora sinking in that heel hook, taking that rest.
And not,
He's got to be happy, though. That's a great effort as well.
Good showing by Anat, although I'm sure he's feeling that he wanted that hold.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could see. It looked like he had steam in the tank to keep going.
So here we go with Nora climbing for Method out of Newark. And she's heading into like this traverse right. And it's cruxy. She's getting this clip. Nice. Good sequence. She's finding some great stances, though. Here's this little bolt-on feature hold. It's got 2 bolt-on jibs on each side. And it traverses right. It gets really ticky-tacky, back and forth.
Very ticky-tacky. A lot of them, they almost all bump left, bump right, come in left, then go up right, and then come back in left.
I mean, you're at almost 50 feet of climbing. Last thing you need right now is these little back and forth moves, right? You're just looking to get going.
Yeah, it takes so much energy.
But she's looking good. She's getting that left hand. Oh, I think we got a high point, folks.
Sloper.
We got a high point out of Nora.
Control the sloper. She's moving.
She is moving, looking to top this thing. Come on, Nora. Amazing effort out of Nora. Definitely the high point at this point.
Absolutely.
And there's 8 left. She's the 8th. She probably pretty good effort to get herself in the finals right there.
I think, right. I mean, she's got the high point there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I would say she's on the cusp or in.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's official. We are not judges, just from what we're watching. And if you haven't been following at home, definitely the high point. I think we have 8 left, and she by far showing, and she looked comfortable on that traverse right and the ticky-tack moves.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. She fit right in there.
She moved with really speed and intention. I mean, she did not slow down. She just kept going.
Absolutely. And the climbing gym that she's out of, Method, that's more a bouldering gym, you were telling me.
I haven't seen it myself, but I hear it's a great bouldering training gym.
Bouldering training gym, awesome.
I hear they might have some ropes, but the focus is bouldering.
It's bouldering, awesome. And, like you were saying, there's some of these great bouldering gyms showing up now, and they're bringing out great competitors. You were just telling me about the one in Brooklyn. It was pretty amazing.
Right.
Vital, was it?
Vital.
Yeah.
It's they spent a small fortune on that place, Scott.
Small fortune. It's cool that there's all these gyms, Method in Newark, Brooklyn. I mean, there's always been climbing gyms close proximity to each other. They all have their own style, their own strengths, let's say. And I mean, there's a lot of climbing gyms even in the Philadelphia area.
they bring in such a new crop of rock climbers into the field. A lot of these, like, for example, New York City, when I lived there 10 years ago, there was Chelsea Piers, the original Brooklyn Boulders, that's it.
Right.
Now there's a plethora of gyms there, and you've got climbers starting, new climbers that are starting left and right.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're both from the Philadelphia area, suburbs, of course. There was only one climbing gym back when I worked at it. You were a member, and you were on the youth team, and your mom and dad used to drive you out. It was quite a distance, have to deal with traffic. Now you are a little closer to the city here, closer to the main line, a little closer. You're finding your own new crop of young climbers where they can come here, train, be on your youth team, hopefully excel to the world stage also.
Right. And speaking of local climbers, we've got Solomon Barth here.
Yes, a lot of history with Solomon.
Solomon grew up in the area. I know, Scott, you've been climbing with his father for a long time. Solomon's currently living in Mountain View, California, Stanford graduate, likes to bake in his spare time when he's not climbing, and is a vegan.
He is a vegan. He's telling us about this great restaurant he went to last night. Family went down to the city. I think it was called Veg. Yeah, and you know what's funny? You look at Solomon as Saul, I call him Saul, built a lot like his dad. He's a big guy out there. For being a vegan, he's definitely getting his protein in. I mean, he's jacked.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Using those shoulders.
Doesn't look like he's missing that animal meat.
Definitely not. Very strong. And for the women, we have Megan Lynch on route. She's on our women's semifinal. Megan, out of Maryland native. Looks like she just graduated. She's the 2018 collegiate bouldering champion, which is pretty cool for Megan. Yeah. She's a Maryland native.
Scott, there's a local route, and maybe there's a bit of a controversy surrounding it. Maybe you can put it to rest finally. Named after, I believe, the first ascent by you, King Solomon at Birdsboro Quarry.
Well, yeah. It was him and his Saul's dad, Colby, and I were both trying to get this route done at Birdsboro. It was a leftover project from Eric Horse. It was chipped. It was drilled. It's an old quarry. I mean, there's nothing special about it. We just used it for training during the week when we would go. So when we'd go to the new or the red, we were kind of ready for some outdoor climbing. His dad and I were both trying to red point it. His mom was pregnant with Saul. His dad, we were both very close. The day she went into, she was having Saul. Colby couldn't go. I got the red point. I named it King Solomon. I called it like 13. Oh, Saul falling a little low there.
Saul, low fall, yeah. That's a little disappointing, especially for him. He's coming off.
He's got to be crushed.
Strong climbing here.
But yeah, I did it and named it King Solomon, and I don't know. I've heard it's been called a couple other things since then. Maybe.
Well, it's interesting because in the guidebook it's called Opposing Gravity, and it has a different first ascensionist.
Well, hey, I've never been one to really care about that stuff. I don't get involved.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was the first, but who knows? Maybe someone did it before me. But it's pretty impressive. Some people have on-sighted that route now.
I belayed Vasi on an on-site.
Vasi on-site,
and I
yeah.
belayed Tyler Lamon on an on-site.
Tyler Lamon on-site. That's an impressive on-site.
Yeah.
Very impressive. So here we are. Megan Lynch. She's up into this upper crux as we know it. Enough talking about some chip route in a quarry in Pennsylvania. No one really cares. And who the first ascensionist was. But Megan here, she's getting into this traverse right on this bolt-on feature. It has those tiny crimps. I really like her sequence there. She's moving quick. Ooh. She's going with something different, but she's going to have to go into this ticky-tack bumping. There it is.
She's got that left hand.
This is where this thing really ramps up, but she's getting a good shake. That left arm's got to be feeling it, though.
We're going to see.
Oh, wow, though.
Okay.
The sequence, though.
She has the sloper.
She had the sloper.
But she's missing.
What is she grabbing there, Mike? Whoa.
Wow.
What is this?
Way out of sequence.
Oh, my God.
Wow. So that might have been. We'll see if they give her that upper hold.
In your opinion, Mike, did she have control of that sloper?
I believe she did. We'll see if they give it to her. I mean, but she was clearly on it and reached it and touched it.
I believe that would be not quite the high point, but close to the high point. And I believe she was like, she's close to, under the top 8 coming out. So that could just get her into the finals. kind of comes down to the judges and what the judges called there. That was a sequence we hadn't seen, though.
Here's the replay of the final move. She gets up. I mean, she touches that last hold. Obviously, no control. But, yeah, we'll see how they score
whether
it.
or not she had that. She went to that sloper for a little bit. She was
touched
out
the
of
sloper.
sequence.
Right. Didn't
Wasn't
like
going
it,
to
came
work.
back down.
Came back down. Once you said these judges, they have a tough job. They are volunteers. We love having them here. These events wouldn't happen without all the volunteers that are here. And I mean, that goes all the way back from runners, people doing ISO, belayers, judges.
Rope wranglers, which is what Melanie's doing here.
Rope wranglers, absolutely.
Yeah. There, so she touches the sloper, comes down. I mean, I guess that's control of the sloper. I mean, if she wanted to, she could have touched it for longer. Didn't like the sloper, decides she's going to go for the higher hold.
It was an interesting sequence. She almost got perched her foot in on that little bolt-on feature and was able to pull herself in. It would have been amazing to see her stick that left hand from there. A sequence we haven't seen. Now, obviously, we still have a few climbers to come out that qualified quite high, so anything's possible.
Brian Squire coming out for the men out of Western Massachusetts, Central Rock Climbing Gym. He's been climbing 17 years, and he's a two-time national youth champion in bouldering. Sure. Brian recently climbed V14 and has climbed most of the hardest routes in Western Massachusetts.
For the ladies, Marielle Horseman, she's, I believe she's out of Boston. She climbs for Central Rock, Watertown. Mariella, she qualified quite well yesterday coming out.
All right, let's see how they do.
Absolutely, Mariella here. She's getting along. She's from Boston, so we've seen kind of climbers represented all over California, Boston, Arizona.
All over the country.
And it was interesting in speed the other night. We had some climbers from like Mexico City. I mean, we've people from all over. I believe one guy was from Ecuador.
Ecuador, yeah. The speed has really been gaining traction.
Yeah, back in my day, speed was not so much traction, but here it is now. I guess the Olympics has really helped that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The change in the format.
And it's exciting to watch.
I bet you Hans Florian wishes there was an Olympic sport when he was at it. Hans was very fast. Dating myself again with the Hans Florian talk.
Hans is he's still around. He actually did a clinic here last year.
He was always quite the showman, quite the competitor. He used to come around, do clinics and everything, and he was fast. And he did it all. He climbed outside, Yosemite, indoor competition.
Man of many talents.
Absolutely.
Brian copying a rest. Matching both hands.
Mariella, I have her down as a veteran. I guess she's been doing this for a while. My notes I was making about her, I must have got that information from somebody. I believe she's 17. And I have her listed as a veteran, which is funny. But, you know, with the way youth climbing is, some of them have been doing it since they've been 7 years old. I mean, she easily could be 10 years into this.
Right.
How old were you when you started competing, Mike?
I started climbing 14, started competing 15, 16. Yeah.
I remember you were part of a very strong class of youth climbing yourself, Rob D., the Matt Siegels, the Adam Stacks. I mean, you guys as a youth at your age, it was impressive.
It was fun. And you make lifelong friends doing it.
Absolutely. Johnny Goycochea.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny was from out in, I think, was he a Seattle?
He was a Seattle guy.
Yeah.
Very strong.
He ended up going to CU. He was there
Yeah,
at Boulder.
he lived with us in Boulder for a while.
I remember visiting that household was entertaining.
Miss that guy. Johnny, if you're watching, call me.
Absolutely. Mariella, here she is. She's starting to head up into what we kind of know as the first crux. As we get into the stronger, qualified a little higher semifinalists, though, those original, what we knew as a crux, we're starting to see climbers get through them, which is it's great to see because then we kind of know that the qualifying routes did their job and are weeding it out to the stronger competitors coming out towards the end. Hopefully these semifinals do the same thing for the finals. You know, the top 8 finding their way, hopefully, into the finals tonight at 6 o'clock. Tune in then, or if you can make it down to Reach, come on down.
Absolutely. Come watch it live. Oh,
Wow, what a fall.
big fall.
What a great catch by the belayer there.
Upside down. These belayers do a terrific job.
That's a lot of pressure being a belayer at a big comp like this.
Absolutely. They're pros.
They are pros. And they're for hire. If you need a good red point belayer, you can grab one of these.
All these guys.
Call them. 1-800-belayer. Mariella here. She's getting through this crux section. This is the ticky-tack moves, but
There
she's
you
moving
go.
quick.
Oh, and she got that left hand.
Yeah,
She looks very comfortable.
She got that quick bump back in.
She has the correct sequence.
Oh, she does have the correct.
Crossing up.
Oh, really choking up on this sloper. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
something up there,
wow,
Mike.
Wow, getting that heel hook.
And matching.
Not the right foot.
Oh!
But almost gets it anyway.
Devastating. Totally controlled that sloper that we know to be so bad. Do you remember, is there a little crimp or something up there?
Possibly on the upper part, but definitely not on the lower part.
Yeah, because she kind of choked up higher, first going lower, and she did a quick match.
She did
Which
a
is
quick match.
impressive.
Yeah.
Got to figure that's going to probably get her into finals tonight.
I would make the assumption she's in finals after
Yeah,
that.
I mean, nothing is, we are not official in what we're seeing, but just from our opinions, from watching everybody, wow, that was a dramatic fall, too.
She has certainly a high point. She matched the sloper, which I don't think anyone else has done.
We're going to have to ask the
Does she
setters.
match
To me, it looks like
she
she's
just gets
grabbing.
high up on it.
She's just getting high and getting the thumb involved. Look, she
Oh,
goes
yeah,
for
she
a
matches
quick
it. She
little
matches it.
tomahawk with the left hand around the top.
So she is, I would say,
Oh.
very close. I would say high point so far.
Yeah, and in our opinion, probably the high point. You're just hoping to get into the finals, and I think that would do it. Sometimes it does come to a count back, so it is critical to know exactly how you did in your semifinal, because it can affect your final outcome, right? Hopefully the final route does its job, separates, and we know our top 8 or, kind of figured out through the difficulty in the route. We're going to have to grab one of our route setters, though, and find out if there's a little bolt-on or something on that
Yeah, it'd be
thing.
good to know.
Because she really gained control of that. We've seen other competitors grab it, not like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up for the men, we have Graham Owens. Graham is coming out of Boston. Very strong outdoor climber. Climbs a lot at Rumney. Recently sent China Glide a few weeks ago. China Glide is a 14D, 514 plus link up at Rumney. And he's coming off that send, and he must be feeling good.
Breaking news, Mike. I just went and talked to one of the setters, because that's what we do here. We get the information. Ran over, asked the setter. He says on that women's sloper, up top, a tiny screw on that she was able to get onto. Other competitors maybe just too tired at that point, but you have to choke up on it. We saw her get the right hand good. She was able to wrap the left hand tomahawk. So there is something up there. It's probably still not that great. Let's face it. But we'll see what our other competitors do on this women's semifinal if they can utilize that little screw on that feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Good leg work.
We get the hard facts here at Reach. So for the women on our semifinal with Olivia Ma. She's from New Jersey, 16 years old I have. So pretty young, 16, but it seems like we have been seeing a lot of 16, 17-year-olds here in this open competition.
Olivia is very seasoned on the youth competitive circuit. She's been climbing a long time. She was here for Youth Nationals a few years ago, and we see her at most of the local competitions.
Gotcha. That's right. You guys did have youth nationals here a couple years ago when your facility was like brand new.
Right. Yeah, it was the first
It was
year
like
we
one
were
of the
open.
first times it wasn't in Atlanta, I think.
Right. Yeah. It was the first time not in Atlanta. And then we were scheduled to have it again. The following year, unfortunately, was canceled because of COVID.
Right.
And now we're hosting NACS.
Well, we're going to have to talk to John Muse tonight. Maybe we can get it back. You know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You got to talk to the big rig.
The big rig, yeah, absolutely. So that's interesting you say about Olivia. She is 16, but she's been competing for quite a while, Mike tells me. She's from New Jersey, so we know her on the local scene. And she's cruising along. As we're seeing she qualified quite well. I mean, she's qualified 5th, so did pretty well. I don't have exactly what she did yesterday, whether she topped any or not, but obviously put a performance in qualifying.
You know, Scott, I just realized it looks like Graham is climbing in socks.
Check that out. That's interesting. You know, we've seen that through the years. Sometimes some climbers prefer it.
Yeah, you know, it's unique. Obviously, it doesn't affect his strength. He's coming off 514 plus send outside.
Wow.
I didn't see, you know, in isolation, he was very soft-spoken. I didn't want to push any questions on him. I wish I had asked.
You weren't going for the hard questions like me.
No.
I'm in there getting down and dirty, trying to get the facts. But, you know, Mike, we've seen through the years, sometimes some people have some interesting shoes and stuff like that and socks. I remember this one guy, Adam Market. You remember that guy?
Oh, sure.
He used to climb in like 5'10" Spire rental shoes.
Yeah.
And he would crush.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, the guy wearing rental shoes. And it was almost like his stick, right? Like he would wear rental shoes, but he was super strong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, you know, wearing socks. And I mean, I feel like we've seen some other competitors wear socks in the past, too.
Sure.
Some used to wear like leg warmers. I think Verve made some or something back in the day.
Oh, yeah, right.
Shout out Christian Griffith, right?
Adam Market, I think, currently living in Colorado, still very strong.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I remember he was in Vail. I think he was a youth coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Olivia here, she's gotten through what was the first crux, but looking comfortable. And now it's this last head wall on the women's, which is difficult. We have yet to see a top on the women's. Very close. It was Mariella that had a really good go. Very close. Probably 1 to 2 holds from the top.
Graham getting pretty high up. Certainly in contention now. If he keeps moving, he's going to be up there.
Socks or no socks, he's looking quite comfortable. Maybe it's the socks making him comfortable.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I need to start climbing in socks.
No doubt. Tube socks. Wow, Olivia here, she's in this sequence, and she's taking her time, finding the hold she likes. Now let's question whether this sequence will work. Now, like the route setters told me, there's a tiny screw on up towards the top.
I wonder if she sees it. I wonder if she knows it's there.
She does. She's searching for it. Check
Graham
this out on the men's side, Mike.
Graham with the high point.
Whoa!
Graham with the send. Wow.
Yeah, he's pumped. Wow. First top on the men's semi.
Big Graham Owens with the top.
Oh, and check it out. Olivia. Folks, action is picking up here. Oh, she's trying to get her foot.
She's trying to get the toe hook on the
toe
screw
hook
on.
that screw on.
Does she have it?
I think she's got it, Mike.
Can she clip?
Could it be 2 tops back to back? The cream of the crop.
Our first 2 tops.
Amazing.
Our first 2 tops, Olivia Ma and Graham Owens. Whew. Putting it down.
Both qualifying, I believe, 5th. They come out, top our semifinals.
Wow. Wow, good to see. After a lot of close runs.
Absolutely. If you've been with us through the whole way, we've watched the progression. It's each crux, people working it out. Olivia at 16 from New Jersey, she's showing her experience, topping that out.
Sure.
Amazing technique, too.
Absolutely. Very smooth.
Very.
Graham had some fight. Looks like it took some effort up there, but getting it done.
Now, Mike, from climbing here at the gym, I usually, when I get to the anchors, I throw to the top of the wall because the top of the wall here is a giant jug, and I usually clip from there. Both competitors clip from a hold. Is that a rule here?
That's the rule. Top of the wall's off.
Top wall is
Yeah,
off. Interesting to know. I wouldn't have known. So the people at home, they have to clip from that last hold. They can't throw to the top of the wall. If you're a Reach local, you know it as well. It's a jug. When you're super pumped, you're just trying to get to the top of the wall and grab that.
That's for sure. It's a thank God jug up there.
Absolutely. So interesting enough, they both use that last hold, which clips the anchors, gets the full send.
Right.
So here we are a little after 12 o'clock. If you're settling in, watching this at home and eating your lunch, or I guess if you're on the West Coast, though, it's not lunchtime for you. You've tuned in early.
Good morning.
Good morning. Maybe it's brunch. I don't know. You're in Boulder or something. You're hanging out one of those good brunch spots that were always around I used to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Moulter used to take me out. I can't even remember some of the places. They were definitely good, though.
Kitchen's the go-to brunch spot there, right?
The kitchen, yeah. Oof. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So let's see here for the ladies. Callie Close. Callie was in speed. She did really well. She won, I believe.
I think she was second place.
Well, was she second? That's right. Yeah,
second place in speed on Friday.
Yeah, and she put on a great performance. She's from Stone Summit as well in Atlanta.
Another Stone Summit competitor.
Right.
So many in the field today. Sergey Lakhno for the men, coming out of Seattle, climbs a vertical world, climbing for 9 years, was originally born in Russia, but has been in Seattle for some time.
And that vertical world program has definitely turned out some really strong climbers. Tyson, long time coach, been around.
Yep.
He's probably so excited to work with a kid like this coming from Russia who looks like he's got, a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Any idea how old he is?
Not offhand, I do not know.
Okay. He looks to be a little bit younger. There's been, through the years, we've seen some really strong Russian climbers come through the ranks here in the United States. Starting off with Vadim Vinokur. He was Russian, came to the United States, strong competitive lead climber for a long time. Good friend of yours, Vasya Vritnikov.
Sure.
Russian as well, came to the States, and so here we are, another one.
Yeah. Long.
It's so cool to see those climbers that come from other countries, settle here in the States. Climbing, is something they did in their home country maybe, and then they do it here in the States. Good friend of ours here, John. We call him Romanian John. He has a young daughter who's coming up. She's super strong.
Sure. She's incredibly strong.
Yeah, and she's looking like she's going to have a career as well in climbing.
Yeah. There she is.
There she is, yeah. We used to compete with John, and then, he just did 14 this year, so he's still strong.
Yeah, John's still climbing 514.
He's now sharing it with his daughter. His daughter's climbing 514 as well, I believe.
Yes.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Mike, you better keep climbing 514 when your kids are ready.
I just hope my kids like rock climbing.
Absolutely. Kayla here
These
getting through that. What was the first crux, but now as we get into our deeper, higher qualified climbers, they are cruising pretty well. But still, this traverse right for Kali she's working a couple different sequences and showing that flexibility also.
Wow, big flexibility.
Yeah.
That's got to help a lot.
I noticed in speed, she's a taller climber, though.
So the height, I think, in my opinion, the height helps you down lower on this route. It's a hindrance on top.
Yeah, especially in this kind of traverse section here. We saw some climbers like Nora fit really well. She looked comfortable. And then you look at Kali here and you're like, I don't know if she's fitting quite into there.
Right. The feet are all close.
Yeah.
It kind of pushes you off.
So it had some benefits lower, but now up higher. And that's good route setting, trying to, make sure that it challenges all size competitors.
Absolutely.
But Kali's looking good, though. No matter what. She's fighting.
She's fighting. She's getting the sequence right.
Yeah, she is.
As you can see here.
Oh, she's going for that bump.
And you know what? It's tough for a tall climber there, especially when you're pumped, because you could see how high that next foot would be for her to step up into.
Absolutely. And that sloper, I was told by the route setters up higher on it, there is a little screw on, but I don't think it's a jug by any means. And I think it's hard to see. Check out Sergey. This guy.
Yeah.
He's strong.
He's
cruising. And he's going.
Crushing that undercling.
Yeah, he is. He looks comfortable there. He's definitely working hard, but he's making it work. Tyson at Vertical World must be proud, this guy.
I like that Vertical World logo.
Oh, look at that strong clip. He was kind of stuck there. He had to find a proper stance, and he came back and got it.
He's thinking.
Whoa. The strength
Showing
on this
power.
guy. Oh, heartbreaker.
Wow.
Good go, though.
Good showing.
Very strong.
Big names coming up.
I don't know. I think, was it Sergey?
Yeah.
Sergey could be a big name in the future here. That was impressive.
I could see that. He's got the power. He's got to work on the technique a little bit. All right, we're down to our final three. Next up, the Olympian, silver medalist.
Whoa.
Nathaniel Coleman.
Right. And we saw Nathaniel in ISO. Both of us kind of were getting some information, as we're trying to learn a little more about the competitors. He was calm, cool, very chill in ISO.
Very relaxed in ISO.
Almost in a confident way, though, I would say, in my opinion, showing the experience. Hey, I just got a silver at the Olympics. I'm here. Yeah, I qualified third. No big deal. Kind of could light it up here on a Sunday night for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a man obviously good under pressure.
Absolutely.
He's been here a million times.
And we have, 2 Olympians here, so now they've got that in their back pocket, that experience. I've competed Tokyo in the Olympics. That experience has to help when you're dealing with now this level of competition.
It's got to help, but sometimes I wonder if it's a two-edged sword. Now that you've had that, you're marked as an Olympian, do all the other competitors see you as someone that they have to beat?
Well, it's kind of up for him to decide, right? Does he have a target on his back, like, hey, I want to beat the silver medalist? And I've seen it in other sports. Or can he turn that into a positive and be like, I now have this experience my other competitors really haven't. I can use that to my benefit mentally. And, because this is a big mental sport, for sure.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all fit. They're all ready to go. It's can you execute it mentally on day of competition?
Right. Nathaniel, he said that he was taking he's been taking a break off of training hard, but has been climbing outside a lot. Recently setting Super Tweak last week.
No way.
Yep.
Super Tweak.
Super Tweak, 14B Utah Classic.
Yeah, Utah Classic, originally put up by Boone Speed. I remember watching it on VHS when it happened. It was a really, really well done by Mike Call. They produced it. And 14B then had this mono move, which was like everyone's jaw dropped. Boone, of course, made it very dramatic. And yeah, that's a route that I feel has stood its time and grade. It was great at 14B back then in the 90s. Still is 14B.
Right. All those old school ones always tend to be stout.
Yeah, of course, yeah. The original 14As usually, because no one wanted to really put that label on it, or 14B, but obviously Boone got it right, and it's pretty cool that he did it. And it's cool that some of these younger climbers coming up, they climb those classics, even like Scarface at Smith Rock or something like that. Those classics are just do it.
For sure.
So for the women here on route, we have Ella von Dungeon. Sorry if I mispronounced that a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about Ella, but obviously she qualified third, so she's very strong. She looks comfortable. I have in my notes that she's from Boulder, or in Boulder, and 18 years old. She must have done really well yesterday to qualify in the third spot. We've seen a top already on both, so we know these routes go.
We know they go.
Whoa.
Oh,
quick
small
little
slip.
slip. Hopefully she gets her, and she's going back. She's shaking it off, getting her composure. And sometimes you need that on a route to wake you up a little bit.
Oh, right.
Like, whoa, I thought I was chilling here. Hold on.
Yeah, get the jitters out.
And then again, sometimes that quick adrenaline rush can also give you a little pump as well.
Nathaniel having no problems reading this route.
No. Once again, we spoke of his experience.
Doing everything right. Getting up in that undercling, that's got to zap your energy.
You said he took a break from training. You figure, though, his training program leading up to Tokyo was probably so intense. He probably feels refreshed. Take a little break from all that training, kind of like regroup. I've seen some athletes in climbing and also in other sports, once they get done with that big Olympic push and everything can kind of settle down, they almost peak a little bit more.
Right. You got to think that whole experience is so stressful, intense, that coming out of that, you're in the best shape of your life. As soon as you can relax, get outside, do some hard things.
Yeah, right. Get on back home, get back on your regular schedule, get back to normal eating and training and stuff like that. Nathaniel
making this look easy. About
Ella
to finish.
Here. Yeah, Nate. Wow. Oh, he hit the draw. Mike, he whacked his hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. As he went for it, it looks like he's holding his hand a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a set of anchors up there as well, correct?
It's a set of anchors. I don't know if they hit the anchors. Maybe we can get the replay
after
the ladies.
But I saw the draw spin. He may have hit the anchor. It had to mess him up.
Oh, for sure.
Because he was looking comfortable going for that final jug. You said earlier you can't go for the top of the wall. You got to go for the finishing hold to clip from. Well, hopefully we can get a replay and we can see a little bit more about that. Here's Ella. She's heading into this last head wall, which we know is kind of the proving grounds of whether you want to go to finals or not.
Exactly. You got to get through the section.
Many different sequences. That big sloper up there just next to the North American Cup Series on your screen, proving to be difficult as well.
Ella getting into the tic-tac section. Fitting into
Absolutely.
the, very flexible, fitting into the footholds well.
Yeah, looking comfortable.
You know, standing up there, no problem. Wow, has the
Interesting.
sequence perfectly.
Yeah. I think that's the sequence, Mike. And look, I think she's on that screw on as well.
Ready to go.
She's comfortable.
Oh, like it's no problem.
Ella von Dungen.
Wow. Easily takes down this route.
Takes it down with authority.
With total authority.
With authority. Like, I didn't. She had that little slip. Remember that little slip?
Yeah,
and
slipped
kind of
down
woke
low.
her up.
Yep. Yep. Maybe a little jitters, get the nerves out, but
Yeah. She's looking poised for a big final.
it's looking very strong.
So we'll be seeing her back definitely at 6 o'clock tonight at Reach. If you can't make it down here live,
Here's that replay for
oh, here we
Daniel.
go. Yeah.
We're going to see him because he looks so casual up to this point.
He was cruising.
Makes that move look easy. Steps the foot through.
Mike, if I'm not mistaken, though, he hasn't yet to make that clip. He was about to skip a clip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he does skip that. So maybe it's a little bit more desperate than he looks.
Yeah, because he had yet to make that clip, and he waxed the last draw, which can really throw you off. So as much as he was showing that experience, looking calm, cool, collective, we catch on the replay, he wasn't able to make that final clip.
Right.
Which that would have come back to haunt him if he had topped out, right?
Well, he would have to reach down to clip it. I think.
Do you think he would have been able to there from the final jug?
I think that.
Yeah, as we look up there.
I think you probably could. It's about at foot level. They say as long as you don't bring your feet above the clip, that you're allowed to reach back down and clip
And
it.
that you wouldn't be DQ'd in that case. So as long as he was able to clip, that would have been quite the entertainment. Would have really stepped it up here. If he stuck the finish hold, he's trying to get that last one clipped so he can then clip the anchor, get the full send. Interesting. All
Up
right.
next for the men, we've got our second male Olympian, Colin Duffy. Colin comes from Colorado. He climbs for Team ABC.
All right. We saw Colin in speed climbing as well. He was doing really well in that on Friday night, but it seems like this is more his he's a strong lead climber.
Very strong lead climber. I would say this is his event.
Awesome.
Speed climbing, he did well. He's very fast. He had a couple unfortunate slips
Yeah.
that cost him. He ended up fourth in speed, but we expect big things from him in the lead event.
In speed, he was off to, he said he had his fastest qualifier, set a personal record, 6.2. I don't know if there was a number after that. And he was feeling pretty confident going into the finals that night.
Oh, yeah.
And he just had a couple slip-ups, but yeah, proving that he's definitely really fast at speed as well. But he's looking really good on this men's semifinal.
He's moving very fast, and he looks smooth.
For the women, Caitlin Bone, I don't have a lot of information. She qualified second, though, so she's definitely strong. I just have that she's 15. I don't know if she's from Albuquerque. I think she might be. I may have messed that up, so I apologize if I did. Somewhere in my notes here about Albuquerque. I know there was just an event, though. Wasn't there just a Cup Series?
That was the last National Cup stop.
Yeah, so the Albuquerque might have been that she had done really well there. But Caitlin Bone, and she's only 15, which is pretty impressive. Do you have to be a certain age?
Yeah, I think you have to be 16.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. I'm sorry. So maybe she's 16.
Yeah. Maybe she squeaked in.
Maybe.
Colin reading the sequence right, not falling for the straight up. Making the clip.
Mike and I tried to get as much information as quick as we could today. We got here early. We were here by like 7:30, trying to get up with competitors, get information, learn about them. So if we screw up a couple of these details, 26 female, 26 males, a lot of people to learn names, information, but we do our best to try to get that information to the people at home as well. Definitely finals, top 8. We will be dialed in on names, information, stuff like that. Colin looking strong here, representing Boulder Proud and that ABC program. I was saying earlier how I've known Robin for a long time and DDA with that program and some of the coaches along the way. Robin was always just I can imagine as a coach, she's really excellent as well because she was a great competitor. In my experience, professional experience with her as a forerunner, she was great and would bring it. I would always try to convince her that she should come out of retirement and compete because a lot of times on the bouldering, oh boy, here we go.
Bit of a
Kaitlin doing a
botch clip there, although other people.
There she finds that drop.
She's got to find the right position. Colin showing a little bit of struggle.
So he was able just to get that clip that I believe Nathaniel was not.
That's true.
Oh.
And no problems there.
Colin Duffy, C. Diddy, looking good. Oh, did I just coin that? C. Diddy.
Another one, Scott.
I don't. Well, I see Duffy. I think Puffy. C. Diddy. I don't know. But wow,
No problem for the Olympian.
absolutely stamping it and looking to kind of say, I'm ready for finals. That's got to make the hometown ABC proud. Kaitlin here, she's regrouped, finding her way. She's got the right sequence.
She's got the sequence. Oh. She had the sequence, just looked a little tired up there.
Right. But we're not official in our results, but I think that might still be able to get her in there.
It's close.
It's close. It's top 8 going in. It's going to be a lot about the control and the plus way, however they scored at this point. Here we are, replay on Colin.
Replay on Colin. It's dynamic for him. He keeps his feet on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does keep his feet, and he's not one of the taller competitors.
He's not at all.
So showing that the route setters did a good job. It fits everybody. Who was the other competitor that topped it out? Was it Graham?
It was Graham.
Graham.
Yeah, Graham Owen topped it out.
And yeah,
In the socks.
in his socks, and he was a little taller, so the route fits everybody. It's funny as you're watching these, you think in the beginning, wow, these semifinals way too hard. No one's getting anywhere. Boom, here we go. We get down to our final qualifiers from yesterday, and cream's rising to the top.
That's for sure.
Yeah, proving that these aren't too hard. So when they put these grades like, hey, men's 13D, maybe, and it's proven to be right.
Yeah.
Women's 13BC, we've seen 2 tops on each. So the route setters doing their job, nailing it.
Doing their job, looking good.
Hopefully they do the same in finals. No pressures, guys. As a previous route setter, I remember being like, can we just call it a semifinals because they went so well and just be done? Because right now we're batting 1,000. And then you go into finals and you like totally messed it up.
Oh, you're like, oh, man.
Down to our final competitors here. They qualified in the top spots, Mike.
This is it.
Who do you got for the men?
I've got, Jesse Grouper, another hometown guy, grew up in New York, New Jersey area, climbed in Philly for a long time, very successful on the competition circuit, very successful outdoor climbing, won the last stop in Albuquerque on the North American Cup Series, a favorite possibly to win this whole thing.
That's funny you say that because here we go for the women qualifying in the first one, Melina Costanza. And Melina also in Albuquerque won everything. She's interesting. She's 21. She's about to finish up her degree in physics at Penn. So she's originally from Seattle, Vertical World, climbed with Tyson, but she's going to school here in the Philadelphia area.
Philly local.
Yeah, and here she is. She said she's been competing a long time, and she's just kind of starting to come together with it all now. And her whole life's pretty balanced. She's wrapping up school. She doesn't feel when she was younger like competing was a lot more pressure. She's more balanced in life, and she was kind of like Nathaniel, and when I was speaking to her in isolation, really relaxed, really just calm, got really good energy from her. So it's interesting to see these last 2 coming out. I would have to think she is a pretty big favorite at this point.
I would say heavily favored.
Heavily favored, but let's see what happens on the semifinal for her. Anything's possible in climbing.
Absolutely.
Must watch TV. I guess it's not TV anymore. Just must watch on whatever it is, your tablet or your TV or your phone, as we got our top 2 qualifiers making their way up these semifinals.
There we go. Jesse getting ready for the jump.
Hardly a jump for him, really.
No, really.
Showing
static.
that strength.
Melina looking very composed.
I remember Jesse from when he competed in youth. You mentioned, I do know the Solomon's family well. I remember him and Solomon were always like neck and neck. They're good friends. Actually, I believe Jesse's staying with the family this weekend because they're local. And Solomon and Jesse, always huge competitors against each other. But it's cool. They have a really good friendship. And here they are. They're kind of getting a little older in this climbing. They're 24 or something like that.
Right.
So we see the youth is coming, and here he's qualifying first. He's still doing it.
He's still at the top of his game, possibly the strongest he's ever been.
Wow. And I remember him doing really well at nationals when he was younger also.
Melina setting up for the first crux. Does it easily.
Yeah, it really does. She's looking comfortable. Kind of keeping that composure I talked about that I saw in isolation on the wall. It sounds like she's had a long history of competing and went through some ups and downs, and you know, she's wrapping up her degree in physics, which is cool. She said after she's done school, she's going to focus a little more on climbing, which is like, wow, I guess pretty impressive that if she hasn't been 100% focused on it as she's getting through school. She's got a pretty big ceiling then.
That's for sure. That's for sure. It seems like every year she just keeps getting stronger.
Mike, does she come in the gym and climb at all? Do you see her?
We do see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll come in here climbing.
So no stranger to the walls here at Reach. She's been up here and done it.
Certainly advantage climbing at the at the venue.
Wow, check it's almost like she's red pointing this route. She's reading sequences so well.
Right.
Finding that deep drop knee and stuff, and just finding her clip stances.
Perfect movement.
Yeah. Efficient. This next sequence, though, is going to really challenge her efficiency because we've seen so many different sequences. Jesse here, he's getting into a little bit of a battle with this men's semifinal.
Jesse, this is a powerful move. This is really very thuggish climbing.
Very much so. They got that blocker hold there. It looks like he wants to find something in it.
It almost looks like a hand jam. I can't tell if that's what he has.
Melina here with a little different sequence. Uh-oh. What's she looking at? Wow, look at that sequence.
Melina fully skipping the sloper.
Totally.
Wow.
Impressive. Melina with the top.
Total domination.
While she's that #1 qualifier. Right. Kind of a favorite.
I would say so. I mean, absolutely. Skips the sloper. Doesn't need it.
You know, we spoke a bit when you're on-sighting. Sometimes you need luck to kind of play in your favor. Either it was luck or just pure strength. She really kind of messed the sequence up on the sloper, but didn't need it.
Doesn't matter. Pulls through anyway.
Power to spare. Always good to have. Jesse, here's a replay on him. We saw he was kind of battling that move a little.
Right. It's a very powerful movement. Maybe not. Maybe more of a boulder style, if you will.
But we would think, though, I would think that would still get him in the finals.
Yeah,
and,
he got up pretty high. I think that would probably put him in there.
You know, taking top 8, just on our opinion, nothing official, would think that would get him in there. Probably left something on the table. Probably feeling a little bit like, I got something to prove in finals.
Right.
So must-see TV, 6 o'clock tonight.
6 o'clock tune
East
in.
Coast time, though.
East Coast. Eastern Standard.
Eastern Standard, absolutely. If you're in the area, come on down to Reach. There's tickets available. It's a beautiful day. Anything going on outside? Food trucks or anything?
We're going to have beer here. We're going to have there'll be some food here.
Oh, beer?
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm a professional.
Something
I'll
for
wait
everyone.
till I'm done emceeing.
All right. Water for you.
Water for
Water
me.
bottles.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a go at maybe being a professional commentator, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to get Paris 2024, me and you.
I'm in.
Who do we need to talk to? Big Rig or what?
Yeah.
Come on, put us on, man. I mean, I've been absent from this emceeing game for 8 years, but I'm coming back with a vengeance. New, improved, more mature. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure. We saw great action. Semifinals wrapping up. Any big surprises for you?
I would say Graham Owens, just seeing the showing, especially at the climbing shoes with the socks coming out of Boston. Relatively unknown compared to the other guys, but total beast, just getting that route done.
What was the background on him? You had some pretty good facts.
He's a young guy, soft-spoken in isolation, climbs outside from the Boston area, loves Romney, recently climbed 14 plus up there a few weeks ago.
It's cool.
Very
So
strong
to-
outdoor climber.
Yeah, total East Coast guy. You know, from Boston, Rumney. Well, back in our day, we remember a lot of strong climbers came out of that area, whether it was Dave Graham, Luke Parity, Joe Kinder, Vasia. That area up around there is very hard routes and stuff up in that, up in the northeast. So maybe he's just continuing on with that kind of history. It's cool
Yeah.
that he climbs there, kind of like you're saying, unknown, climbing in some socks. But hey, fashion forward, man.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. That's right.
Any closing words, Mike?
No, we're waiting to see if they put the results up. Maybe we're not there yet. But it was a great round. We look forward to the final.
Here he is.
There's Graham putting it down.
He's definitely working there.
He's working. It's a big move.
Big
Keeps his
move.
foot on.
Yeah,
Psyched.
he's pumped.
He is psyched.
Do you think you think he has a Boston accent?
I didn't sense one.
You didn't sense one. And check out.
But he wasn't a big talker.
Hey, he does his talking on the wall.
Yeah.
And Melina Costanza here, qualifying number 1. A little bit of shake there, clipping them anchors, but kind of doing what we thought she would do. We saw a couple tops on this though, so she's got some competition for sure.
Absolutely.
Great replays, some great camera work done here.
Yeah. Big thank you to all the USA Climbing volunteers, all the support we have here.
Oh, here's C
Here's
Diddy.
C Diddy.
C Diddy getting it done.
Putting it down.
I'm probably going to get a text from Robin. I don't appreciate this nickname, C Diddy. Then again, he is an Olympian. He's probably got an agent. His agent's probably trademarking it right now.
Right.
I don't know. Do climbers have agents at this point?
Well, I can tell you, he does.
Does he have an agent?
He does.
Smart.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was doing competitions and stuff, Chris Sharman had an agent, and he was one of the only ones I dealt with. And when we would try to get Chris to do certain things, Chris being Chris, very chill, soft-spoken. You better talk to my agent about that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's pretty cool that C Diddy's got an agent.
Well, now the climbing's big time. These guys, you need help managing all the things they're doing.
Absolutely. You have a lot of PR. You got a lot of things you got to do. I mean, I'm sure they have. I saw he's wearing a Black Diamond logo. He's probably a sponsored athlete. I mean, I'm sure we have sponsors we should be speaking of for USA Climbing.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's
Pretzel, Entrepris, Cliff
yeah,
Bar.
that's on these things. But it's cool to see athletes, getting that recognition. The Olympics
Absolutely.
helping that. So maybe we'll see him on like a reality TV show or something,
Maybe one day.
or a cooking show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching one of these. My wife watches all these cooking shows on TV. And maybe, hey, check it out, C. Diddy. Maybe I need to talk to his agent about these nicknames
That's
I'll
right.
give him.
That's right.
Actually,
Just
who
get
we joking?
royalties.
No one's listening to us anymore. The
Right.
competition's over. There's probably like 0 viewers on there. We're just talking to each other at this point.
All right. We can probably wrap it up.
Absolutely. So they're just doing some replays, and enjoy. Stay on. If not, we'll see you back here 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Mike Feinberg, Scott Meckler. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, everyone.
semifinals, so I know what to think about whoever.